Hello, Landry. What's up?
Hello, Dustin. How are you?
All right.
And Sind. How's it going, Dustin?
It is going well. I don't, I'm hoping that,
Hello, Dustin. How are you?
okay, I'm seeing how that's going to work. Nothing like, let me see if this change it to gallery view and that will,
Sure,
maybe that will help.
that should do it.
Yes. Well, how's it going, Landry?
It's going well. I'm jazzed. I even pulled this shirt out of the bottom of the hamper just for this.
Nice. Nice.
So it's a
Uh,
little wrinkly, but it smells.
yeah, I decided to, to dress up super nice, as you can tell, for the
Yeah,
evening.
you put on your old Johnny Cash.
I did. I just got done playing a gig at what is it? The prison downtown. I can't remember
Oh,
the name.
oh yeah, yeah.
Whatever. David L. Moss. It's
Sure.
not as historic as Folsom
It's
County.
no fault.
Yeah. Yeah. So we're doing this, right? We got
We are
a
doing this.
we got a Podfest going, a virtual Podfest.
It's a virtual podcast. It's the Isolation Podfest. It's coming straight from our homes to yours. It's almost poetic.
Yeah, I guess I don't know. Just are we pioneers? No.
No, not even close.
But hey, I haven't seen anyone else do an isolation podcast.
That's true.
So, you know,
We're doing something.
obviously the whole world is doing Zooms for everything. But
Yes, we're not the first people to have discovered Zoom by any means.
oh no, yeah, it's and by the way, just so you know, you're being recorded there. We have to, so we're in compliance with all the
Okay,
laws.
good.
So,
I did talk to CR. He said it was. He said that as long as you said something, we're fine.
yes, yes. So what do we got on store for everybody today?
Well, I'll tell you what we have in store. We have a whole. Some people would call it
A slew.
a slew of podcasts and fun.
And no one pitches fun quite like Landry Miller.
Do you remember when you were a kid, Thursday nights was like the night to watch NBC?
Yeah, sure.
And they had, well, I'm just guessing it when you were a kid, they had Taxi, Night Court.
Well, yeah, Night Court was there. Yeah.
Okay.
I don't know that Taxi and Night Court have a lot of crossover in years, though.
Yeah, they may have had like one season in
It's,
crossover.
it's, it's more like Cheers and Night Court and
Cheers, Night Court.
Yeah.
10 years later, Frasier,
yeah.
uh, Seinfeld. That might have been a Tuesday night show.
I think that was Thursday, but like
Oh,
you go to Fridays and you got TGIF over there on ABC, right?
that's a good point. So you still
The
get,
cool man himself, right? So.
yeah. So basically, this is Thursday night on NBC
Oh, okay.
of
So
Tulsa comedy.
we're gonna do those record numbers, I suppose.
I mean, if you have no other numbers to compare them to, they are technically record.
Yeah. Hey, this is the most viewed SoundsTooth Isolation Podfest post COVID-19. Well, during COVID.
Yeah. Boy, I wish we were post.
Yeah, I know. Like, yeah. Unfortunately, that's not going to be for a while. So we're on lots of platforms tonight.
Yeah.
I haven't checked YouTube, so I haven't checked.
I don't know if we're on YouTube, but
Yeah.
we're on Twitch. I'm seeing right here. Uncle Gary said is here, and he said that Taxi was great.
Yeah, Taxi's a good show. I mean,
Oh, okay.
like,
Right.
uh, it's a spin-off of something. Are there lots of spin-offs from Taxi? I think.
Um,
I don't know.
don't know. It's not like what was it, Happy Days, which was a spun off a ton of shows, but was also a spin off of a show.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and of course, who could forget Mork and Mindy, right?
Mork and Mindy.
You know, people always say that TV is, not as good these days, but like in the 50s, a talking horse was like the number one star of a television show.
That's very true. So really, what are we doing? Anyway, but today we have I mean, it's 6:05, baby, and we're just getting rolling with our NBC TV talk.
Yes, we're just getting going.
As everyone knows, we're kicking off this thing with the old hashtag Fuckboy Friday.
Did not know that we were doing that, but okay.
Oh, it's Fuckboy Friday, and but as we move into the next hour, we're gonna hear from whoever the host of Red State Blues is.
Yeah, I hear he's a real incorrigible person.
Incorrigible to a degree no one's ever seen before.
Yeah, I don't necessarily trust him, but
That's probably smart.
yeah, good idea.
Then we move into the 8 o'clock, baby, and this is the power hour of the festival, in my opinion, because we get to see how fucking dumb people are.
I was like, I was like, wait, are you talking about the So Many Sequels guys or whatever? Because I was like, no, that's me at 8 o'clock. Yeah.
Yep. We get to see some trivia, and we're gonna have people playing live.
Yes.
Right here.
Yeah.
All right.
Some of probably some SoundsTooth's alumni. I will be on there, I guess.
Hey, if I'm bored, I'll stop by.
Yeah, I think Uncle Gary said he's going to play, so we'll get Uncle Gary on there. I'm putting it all together right now. So
as we speak,
yes, I did not plan on being here right now because I was expecting to be Ethan Sandoval.
Oh, he'll be here.
Yeah.
Don't you worry. He's here to fill out the Fuckboy Friday rule.
So if you are out there and you're starting the stream, you can help. If you're watching on Twitch, why don't you host our channel? Like,
is that true?
You can host. Well, you know that way other people can see it that maybe doesn't know how to get to the SoundsTooth app. Facebook.com/SoundsTooth, SoundsToothNow.com. There you go. That'll take you to Twitch and maybe YouTube. I don't know. I haven't opened it. I'm going to do that.
We probably should check YouTube. And if that's not it for you, on the SoundsTooth app, if you have that downloaded, go to the live stream. You can watch it right there. It's a little tab on your app. And if you go to our website, SoundsTooth.com, there's also a SoundsTooth TV button, and I'm pretty sure you can click on that. Probably should check on that one.
We are live on YouTube, so
we're on YouTube.
Yeah, we're on YouTube.
We did it. That's how you know you've made it. If you're on YouTube, you've officially made it.
Because someone spent an hour yesterday trying to figure out how to get the stream to work properly. That's how you've made it. Yes.
We fucking did it.
My hard work paid off.
Yeah.
But no, paid off would imply that there was money being exchanged.
Right. Well, and it took an hour for you to figure it out. Yeah. And that's the host of trivia, 8 p.m.
Yeah, exactly.
But then 9 p.m. Oh, this rocket's just taken off. It's 9 p.m.
I hope this isn't a challenger situation.
Depends on how 10 o'clock goes. 9 p.m. So Many Sequels. This is, I think, the first event that they're actually joining us on. That's how big of a deal this is.
I've heard the guys, but I've never actually seen them. So
that's probably for the best.
Now, if you were going to guess of all the different people that are going to be on the streams tonight, who's going to go with just, the old, no video? Who do you think is going to be, because they don't want to put pants on? Who would you think is going to be prime candidate for that?
Sadly, it won't be any of the So Many Sequels guys. I wish, but it won't be. It might be C.R. Parsons.
Okay, that adds up. Yeah,
because he'll be joining us later.
CR's gonna play some music for us. Just gonna throw on a record while like, oh yeah, I'm amazing.
Yeah, if you can't see him, you don't know. And I just found out because I watched their video. So Many Sequels are going to be talking about The Matrix tonight.
Okay.
Big fan of The Matrix?
Absolutely not.
Okay, well,
but
Ethan.
I mean, I will listen to the people talk about things I'm not interested in, so it's okay.
Okay, then that's because you're a good podcast listener. There's Ethan.
There is Ethan Sandoval.
All right, 10 o'clock, Talk Show Incorporated. 11 o'clock, we have a surprise comedy show with an amazing lineup. There's Ethan.
Oh, hey, what's up?
Ethan. Yeah. Welcome to Fuckboy Friday.
Oh, leave.
Ethan, what are you doing?
Just
here.
I'm just playing video games, just hopping in the stream. What's up?
Oh,
what we doing?
We're just getting popping, man.
Yeah, I'm as skeptical of that as you are.
Let me adjust this a little bit.
Don't like
that. There we go.
I love this angle. What's that there on your nightstand?
Stuff and things. I think it's Gold Bond.
Yeah, that's what it looks like.
Yeah.
Can you send some over to me?
You stuck a jock itch?
Yeah. Could you imagine if I still had jock itch after?
I know. How long has it been? Yeah.
Speaking of Fuckboy Friday, I once got jock itch. That's it.
What?
That's pretty fuckboy.
Yeah, sure, Landry. Sure it is.
Ethan, what are you looking at? What are you doing?
What? Oh, I was exiting out of the game is what was going on.
Well, what game were you playing?
Fallout 76.
They've made 76 of those?
Yep. 76.
That's why I am a professional. That joke right there.
Yeah. That's exactly why.
Ethan,
Landry.
Quarantine dinner?
What?
That's what someone on Twitch said. Go to quarantine dinner, question mark. Do you want to go to dinner with me, Ethan?
Oh, I mean, weren't we planning that, kinda? Didn't we have that as like a possibility, like to do one of our talk show potlucks, but in our own homes?
So was this is this the one where we send each other a meal?
Oh, yeah. The only issue with that was where I live, the delivery charges would be ridiculous.
So we'd send you a Snickers bar to make up for how much.
Yeah. The delivery charge may be more than the meal.
Now, Landry, can I butt in here for 1 second? We didn't finish our schedule. So 10 o'clock, Talk Show Incorporated, right?
Talk Show Incorporated, 10 o'clock, sure. That's
like best free show held in the back of a bar in Tulsa, Oklahoma.
That's true.
There it is. And then at 11, an after party jam.
After party jam, where we're going to have, and now here's the thing, we're living in a new world, right?
Yeah.
You can go to a live event, but you can watch a live event. Ooh. And we actually have a couple friends who are zooming in, and they're going to be really funny for us. It's not like typical stand-up, because how are you even supposed to do that right now?
Yeah, what's the deal with that, right?
What's the deal with stand-up?
Airplane food, stuff like that.
Come on,
what's the
old
shopping,
Yeah. But we have stand-up comedians that are going to be zooming in, and they're going to be funny. I don't know what they're going to do. I told them to come up with something, and they're going to come up with something. Who knows what? Do you want to hear who's coming?
Yeah. Who?
We have Sierra Parsons. So we really are pulling in the big guns. We have, it's a stage name. You know what I'm talking about. I'm just kidding. We have Rick Shaw coming in. His is not a stage name. CR was.
Oh, right.
We have Vanessa Dawn, who used to be a stand-up in
Vanessa.
Doing stand-up. She's going to be coming in. And we have Kayla Esmond, a stand-up from LA, who's going to be joining.
Oh, I love Kayla. She's great.
Some surprise guests from people on SoundsTooth. So they're not really that surprising. They're already here, basically.
Am I a surprise guest?
Maybe. I can't confirm that.
Oh, fuck.
Well, and I could say that at 7 o'clock, Michael Patton will be joining Red State Blues.
Never heard of him.
Recycle Michael is his.
Oh, now that I know.
And then Lynn Robertson from the Starlight will be joining us at 7:30. So, and we're actually raising money for places like the Starlight through this feed. So if you will check the comments, go to our SoundsTooth page, you will see the links to donate via PayPal, Cool, Venmo, or Cash App are there. So you can donate all those 3 different ways.
Wow.
So
wow.
Now I'm going to let you professionals take over, and my face is still going to be here because I think it has to be. But
you can hide non-video participants.
Okay.
Just click your 3 dots.
Okay, I will try.
Not that hard. I think you got it.
Oh,
What's up, Ethan?
What's up, Landy?
I'm getting rid of his face on my.
I got rid of it.
Wow.
Oh no, we can still see a picture of you, but
you're gone on the feed. That's all that matters.
All right.
People have to see you. Ethan.
Landy.
It's Fuckboy Friday. How you doing?
Oh my God, I'm doing great. How about yourself?
I'm good. You're still working in these times. Are you enjoying your job?
No.
Do you wish you had no job right now?
It's a double-edged sword. Like, I wish I had all the free time everyone else has. But at the same time, I'm being able to save up money. So
yes, and you probably have like a normal sleep schedule.
When I'm not messing around with you fucks. Yeah.
You ever well, since it's Fuckboy Friday, you ever shotgun an entire beer and then smash it on your head?
No. Yeah.
Hey, Ethan.
Yes.
Speaking of Fuckboy Friday.
Yes.
Last night, I think you were gone by now, by that point.
Oh.
It was technically Friday morning, because it was like 2 o'clock. The Talk Show Inc. people, we were all playing some games, right?
Right.
And Sean Singleton, who will be on Getting Greasy tomorrow and Talk Show later.
Ooh, did he
fell
fall
asleep on camera?
Yes! I'm so
he
happy.
fell right asleep.
No,
we were playing a game, and we were like, we haven't heard from Sean in a while. He hasn't clicked any answers. And we all looked at his screen, and he was just slumped over asleep.
Yep, that's old Sean.
And then we yelled, Sean, wake up! Sean, wake up! And he finally did. And he was like, I wasn't even sleeping.
That guy has fallen asleep at bars that had bands playing.
Oh, like we couldn't even hear each other talking. It was so loud. And he's just snoring.
Yeah, I don't know how he does it.
It's incredible.
And he gets so upset about it too. He gets so mad.
I can't even figure out why he's so tired.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
He works like 4 hours a day.
Yeah. I work 8 hours a day.
Yeah, and look at you. You're bright and alive.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Well, alive.
You're alive.
Alive. I thought of something that is very dark, but it made me laugh very hard, which is just everything, I think. Yeah. But I thought I would have killed myself if it wasn't for that whole dying thing. And I don't know why. I don't know why that statement made me laugh so hard.
Well, it's because it's the truth.
Yeah.
Dying really gets in the way of a lot of people's plans.
It does. It really does. It is not great.
That's why I don't have any plans. I don't want to be disappointed when I die.
Yeah, that's what you got to do.
If you set 0 goals, you'll have left nothing unaccomplished, and then you won't be a ghost. You'll go straight to hell.
Yeah, exactly. What's that movie? Oh, there's that new show that just came out today. Was it Upload?
Horror Story. Oh, wait, what?
Upload?
I've seen the ad for it.
Yeah, I watched like bits and pieces of the first episode.
I don't know what it is.
It's like, instead of dying, if you're rich, you can get your consciousness uploaded into a computer program.
Whoa.
Yeah, and it's about a guy who isn't rich, but I guess he gets mortally wounded in a self-driving car accident. So then they have to, they essentially, as part of the settlement, put him in this program, and but it's like very glitchy and has a lot of technical issues, and that's all I really saw of it. Like somebody convincing him not to kill himself within it, because there's a way to kill yourself within and it's very easily accessible too. It's like incredibly easy to access.
I'm so confused by the idea that this would even be. Would you want to be uploaded into a computer?
I don't know, man. Like I'm just banking on that I'll get more comfortable with dying the older I get. That's really what I'm banking on.
I hear that sometimes that happens.
Yeah. Like I don't know.
Well, good.
Yeah.
Would you want to be a ghost?
I feel like it'd be boring.
Actually, there was that. What was it? Douglas Adams' book, the Dirk Gently's Holistic Detective Agent.
Oh yeah. They did like a BBC show for that.
Yeah. So in the book, there's like a character that's a ghost, and it's like a struggle to get around, like she was trying to, or he, I can't remember who it was. They were trying to get the attention of someone that was alive, and so they were trying to push like a vase off of a thing, but it was like just such a struggle to get something to move. It's like, why even when you yell, it's just a whisper.
Yeah.
Why would you want that?
Yeah, exactly. Like,
why do people want to be ghosts, Ethan?
I don't know, man. Just, I don't know. Do people want to be ghosts, or do people just want ghosts to be real?
I want both. I want ghosts to be real, and I want to be a ghost. Because here's the thing: I think if we discover the ghosts are real, and then I turn into a ghost,
it would finally give you an excuse for your complexion.
Yeah, that's true. I don't even have white lights on. I don't know why I'm disappearing into the wall.
Yeah.
Actually, it's so bad I can never use Zoom backgrounds unless it's a pure black wall behind me, because, and even then, like my eyes go out. It's not good.
What about an actual green screen?
Well, I think my skin also has a green tint to it, so that never works either. Actually, green screens work well. I just don't want to buy one.
Yeah, no, I got you. I got one on the way.
Nice. I should get one. But hey, what are you gonna do? It's Fuckboy Friday. Which, by the way, thanks for filling in on Fuckboy Friday last minute. Quinn Blakely decided he wanted to go to Norman and visit a friend during this time of the world. So he deserves to be shamed for it.
Yeah. What a scumbag.
By the way, Brahms,
if you want to sponsor us,
want to.
That will make Landry's life.
Oh my God. If I could just swing through and get this fused raspberry tea every day for free, that's all I want.
Yeah, right.
I'll hold up the cup in every show I do.
Yeah, you would get a fused raspberry tea. You would get chicken tenders and with ketchup inside of a coffee lid. Is exactly what you would get. Yeah. Because I've eaten with you at proms so many goddamn times.
I don't change it up. There's no reason.
No.
Once they've perfected a food, why add to the menu?
Yeah.
You know, that's. I
mean, their chicken tenders are good. I like them with their gravy. Their gravy's real nice.
The gravy's okay. I just gravy. If it's not perfect, I don't want gravy. It's so gross.
Yeah, I got you.
And the times I would eat Brahms gravy, it was like hit or miss. So I was just like, I'm out.
Yeah, it's breakfast. It's real good because they got like lots of chunks of sausage in it.
I actually this morning, that's where I got this cup. Was this morning I went through the drive-thru and I got myself a little breakfast sandwich. I got chang, and it was great.
Yeah. They have real good. I always get like a double biscuits and gravy whenever I go through there.
Ooh. I'm not even like a little Southern folk man, but I do like their biscuits and gravy.
Their biscuits and gravy are good. They are the first place that I ever had biscuits and gravy.
Really? My first place was Carl's Jr., so you're living.
Yeah. See, the first place I ever had gravy and was like, oh, this shit's great, was like 5 years ago at like a Cracker Barrel.
Whoa.
Yeah, it was
Wow.
some gravy on some roast beef, and it was delicious.
I just remembered. When I was like in junior high, I used to
Mhm.
live in a place called Duncan, Oklahoma, and it was like
Yeah.
a small town. And my neighbor was this old biker man, and he had a son who was a few years older than me.
Mhm.
I almost died. He had a son that was a few years older than me, and I would hang out because he was the only other kid I knew.
Yeah.
And anyway, but his dad every Sunday morning would go to Carl's Jr. with all of his biker friends
Mm-hmm.
that I now remember were definitely they were all wearing matching vests that said Banditos on the back of it. So now
Ah.
I went to Carl's Jr. every Sunday with a biker gang. Just realized that.
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh, that's right. That's right.
And you can see him later on. C.R. Parsons, everybody.
And there he is, ladies and gentlemen. That's how he became my uncle, my godfather.
What a fucking segue that would have been.
And then he just pops in.
Like, hi.
I'm
Yeah.
C.R. Parsons.
C.R. Parsons. Yeah. I think the last time I went to a Cracker Barrel, I was in a relationship. And I think the same
Wow.
goes for Carlos Jr. So
That's not bad. That's
yeah,
pretty
it's
good.
only been like what, 6 years?
I wish I'm gonna name my son Carl so that he can name his son Carl. So that he'll be Carl Jr. And then maybe he can get free food at Carl's Jr.
Carl Miller Jr. does sound like an NBA player.
Yes, it does. There gotta be a cool middle name though.
Yeah. Hardee's.
2 birds, 1 stone.
Yeah. What was I going to say? Because you were talking about how you lived in a town called Duncan, and we were talking about breakfast. And if I tell you right now, if I lived in Duncan, I would open a place called Duncan's Donuts just to piss every single person who lived in that town off.
I'm not saying that didn't already happen.
Yeah.
Because it's very possible. By the way, I went back there like a couple of years ago. I went for this film festival thing, and I was driving through town, and it has significantly died since I lived there. Like it's like everything shut down except this. It's like not a gas station, but it was definitely used to be. But they took out the gas pumps. You know that thing that makes gas stations money? They took them out. And then they built a cave that you drive through and you go up to a window and then you can order a drink and you drive away. So they have like drinks and candy and that's it. And
so it
that
was
place
just a convenience store.
Yeah, that you couldn't go inside.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. It was like a smoke shop, but for
I bet they are thriving right now. Like they've prepared for it.
And it was called like Samson's Cave or something.
All right. I
I don't
like that.
Yeah, it's weird.
Hey man, you wanna put a bunch of us in a car and head on down to Samson's Cave?
We're gonna go get liquored up with non-alcoholic drinks. But they also used to have like, so there was that place, and then 2 blocks away was a park, and in the park, it was like a mini amusement park type thing, like it was like a Ferris wheel that was like 15 feet tall.
Yeah.
And it had 4 cars on it, and it would just okay. And then it had the ride where you like sit in it, and then you
did like a dad with a kid on his shoulders walk by, and he was taller than the ride.
They would high five. But then there was the other one where you like spin around, whatever.
Oh, like the teacups, or the
it was like the teacups. Yeah, it was those 2, and then the other one was I can't remember what. It was like a mini roller coaster. Like it was a caterpillar, and you could fit like 8 people total on it, and it would go like this, up, and then right back around. Not worth it.
Yeah.
So this took up maybe like the size of a 1-bedroom apartment worth of space, but surrounding it was a train track where a mini train would just drive in circles the whole time.
Yeah.
You know, piloted by a grown man who barely fit into the front.
This sounds like you are just describing your brain. Like this
is how my brain works. Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. Anyway, but I watched a lady get hit by that train one time.
Oh.
And she died, and that's why they shut it down.
What?
Yeah. And the train is like not big enough that it should have killed someone. I don't know how it happened, but
yeah, like that was like, because I know exactly what you're talking about, and I'm like, wait, what?
Yeah, and it wasn't like she was just like a tiny woman that got sucked under. Like she was a normal woman that just got mowed over by this thing, and she died.
Can you?
Fuckboy Friday.
Can you think of a worse way to die? Can you think?
Than being run over by a kid train?
Yeah. In Duncan, Oklahoma.
Well, because that's the thing is, if I remember correctly, like there were like kids on the train when it happened too. Like that's even worse. Like it would have been better if her whole family was on that train.
As far as like amusement park deaths go, that's gotta be the lamest.
Yeah,
like that one kid got his head kicked off at Six Flags. Like
that's right. Which is impressive.
It's impressive. It's impressive on the legs part. It's impressive on the heads part.
That kid's got a weak neck because that takes so much force to remove a head from a body.
Yeah.
God.
Well, it must have been at like right at the apex, or not the apex, but like the valley.
Right. It had to have been.
Boom.
Bam. Yeah. God, I can't imagine.
And I think that woman had to wear a boot for like 2 years afterwards because it just shattered her leg.
Why even have a leg at that point?
Yeah. Speaking of, so I've been watching. I've recommended it to you. So I've been watching the Dark Side of the Ring series, which is like a pro wrestling, but like more of the like real life backstage issues that happen, and they talk about some dark stuff. They talk about like murders, double murder, homicide or suicides. I mean, there's a lot of murder. There's so much murder. But I watched one, and it's about this famous wrestling family / dynasty in Texas. They were known as the Von Erichs. And there's a lot of people who believe the Von Erichs are cursed because I want to say like, so when they were all young, one of their brothers drowned. There was like 6 brothers total. When they were young, one of the brothers drowned. They were all wrestlers. One of them went off to Japan to wrestle. Died of gastroenteritis. One of them overdosed on drugs. One of them, 2 of them committed suicide, and then the father died of brain cancer. So there's literally only one of the 7 brothers still alive.
Wow.
And the reason that brought me up is one of the brothers lost his leg in a motorcycle accident, but wrestled even though he was missing a leg. Like
that's impressive.
He like, because he only lost it from like maybe a little bit above the ankle, so he mostly lost a foot, and so he would just hide it. Like he would just wrestle and wear his boots so nobody could tell he was missing a foot.
What?
Yeah, and there are some one-legged wrestlers. There's a very famous one called Zach Gallen, who just flat out has one leg and is a professional wrestler. And then there's like a one-armed wrestler. There's a couple, but the one of the first ones was Kerry Von Erich, who was one of the brothers that ended up killing himself.
Have I ever told you about this series of movies that I found from like the early 70s? Because, all right, well, I'm just going to tell you. And so this is what that reminds me of. It was this movie called the oh fuck, what was the first one called? So there was a movie that I cannot remember what it was called, and it's probably for the best. But it was it had two. It was like a ninja movie, and
Okay.
one of them had this guy with a like a metal back, like a turtle shell. he
I was about to say, are you just talking about Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles?
he like shit. No, he like yes. What if I was? And there's this
Like,
giant
God,
mouse.
what was that? What was that movie called? And you're like describing everything except for the fact that they're fucking turtles. Like, they got an old sensei and they live in like a rundown area
All their names are
of
like
famous painters from the
painters.
Renaissance era. And there was just one other thing. Oh, they loved pizza.
That's
That
right.
was what it was.
Big pizzas.
Oh, yeah.
And let me say, I don't think they were quite adults, but they weren't exactly
They weren't.
prepubescent.
They weren't adults. They were not adults. And they weren't. They weren't like human per se. They were like more than human. You know, they
Yeah.
like different genetics.
And they could fight like Krav Maga.
Like Krav Maga, like yeah, they did the ninjutsu. What's that? What's it called when you do ninjutsu? Can you imagine knowing the word ninjutsu but not ninja?
Not knowing.
Oh, very silly.
So anyway, it was a movie about these ninjas, and one of the guys, so this evil guy like went after one of the ninjas, the two ninjas, and like basically cut off his arms.
Uh-huh.
So he had like little like he didn't have anything. He just it was like what was left of his arm. Then the other ninja, they like showed up and they like dropped bricks on his legs, and then like poured acid all over his legs so they wouldn't work. And so they shrank up into little legs. And then these two ninjas met each other.
Yeah.
And they decided to go kill this guy by having the one sit on the other's shoulders.
Right, yeah.
And they fought him, right?
Yeah.
So this movie is bad.
Oh,
like, it's not even dubbed in English, and it's still out of sync.
Yeah.
Like, none of the dialogue matches up. It was all post-production. It's so bad. Well, there was a movie that was like a spin-off of this called The Crippled Avengers. Yeah, where it had a blind guy and a deaf guy, and these two, and there was like a fifth guy who just
so
like
Hawkeye and Daredevil.
And it was it was the most insensitive movie I've ever seen.
Yeah.
Because these weren't like actually like these weren't the actual people. Like it was prosthetics, and the guy just like had his arms down, hanging down.
Yeah, of course.
Shirt. It was awful. Anyway, you should watch it.
5 stars. 5 stars.
5 stars. Would watch again.
Yeah, like I remember when I was younger I watched those like oh god, what's the Kung Pao with like Kevin Nealon in it?
Yeah,
I think
that's right. Yeah.
Yeah, I remember that one. Like there are like bits and pieces of that I remember. Like I obviously remember and then like the scene where he pokes out like he's fighting 5 different enemies and he pokes out all their eyes and then pulls his hand back and he's got all their eyes on the tips of his fingers.
I love that.
Yeah, and then like he had a talking tongue. I remember.
Oh,
like
yes. Oh my god. That movie was so weird that you're saying this. I'm like, that can't be. Oh my god, you're right.
Yeah, and like there was so many weird. There was like the 3 boob lady, and then there was like, I remember there's like a 5-minute scene of him as a baby falling down a hill. I remember that, and then I'm trying to think of what else. The only other thing that really sticks out to me is there's a bit where one of the bad guys' henchmen gets like his toe cut off, and then like he's walking around, and every time he walks, like blood spurts out of his shoe. Yeah, like I don't I don't know why I remember so much about this movie because I watched it once, not even all the way through. Like I remember like there's a scene where he like punches a guy in the chest and the guy goes and then just a huge circle forms and then his chest just falls out.
You know what? One of my favorite like comedy ninja movies that is super underrated, but also was a terrible movie, so I understand why it's underrated, was Beverly Hills Ninja.
I was just about to. I
That's
was
my
like,
movie.
I knew exactly where you were going. I remember that. Yeah,
Which, by the way, is on one of the streaming services. I just saw it yesterday.
yeah.
And
I've watched Beverly Hills Ninja. It's not bad. It's not bad. I
It's
like Drunken Master a lot with Jackie
yeah,
Chan.
yeah, yeah.
Do you remember? Oh, did you ever watch Shaolin Soccer? Do you remember
Huh?
Shaolin Soccer? Oh my god, I fucking loved that movie. So they were like all old kung fu guys that had like kind of given up. There was like Iron Shirt, and then there was like Steel Leg, and then like all the every single one had like a different special ability. They were all Shaolin monks. That's what it was. But then
Okay.
their temple. I don't remember why, but they're no longer in the temple, and they're all just working within. They're like one of them's like a dishwasher, and one of them's this, and one of them's that. Like they all just got boring bullshit jobs, and then one of them, the steel leg, gets into soccer, and goes, "Hey, if we get all of you guys to play soccer, we could probably win because we have all these like special abilities." Like one of them's got Iron Head, so he does all the headers. One of them's got like the stone shirt technique. So like people just like he just like he does this thing where he sucks the ball into his stomach and just holds it there and just runs. He just runs with the ball in there. And then you got Steel Leg in it. And then there's a fat guy who's like ultra super flexible and like agile, and that's his whole shtick. And there's
Wow.
like a lot of really weird scenes in that movie, but I also remember adoring that movie.
Mhm.
Like there's like a scene. There is a very funny scene in it where like there's a bunch of ruffians beating up the two guys, and they like it's like Ironhead and Steel Leg who they're beating up, and they're like they go to Steel Leg and they're like, so I hear you got an iron head, and they like hit him over the head with a wrench, and he's like, fucking that's the other guy, and they go over to Iron Head, and he's like, they're like, so you got steel legs, and they start like beating up his legs, and he's like, God no. But yeah,
Oh, that's funny.
it's a really weird movie that I loved, and I think it's got a cult following if I remember right.
That sounds like a movie that would, yeah.
Yeah, it's pretty weird, but it's fun.
Huh. That sounds exciting.
Yeah.
You know what? I'm gonna watch it.
What else you gonna do?
Not much. I mean, yeah, nothing. Nothing.
Yeah, Shaolin Soccer. Check it out. I'm sure
Okay.
it's streaming somewhere.
You know what? I hope that everyone that's watching right now, go watch that instead of this.
Watch
Is that
it for the
what you're
next 17 minutes.
Which, by the way, coming up after us, Red State Blues.
Ooh, Red State Blues.
So I guess we're going to hear some harmonica, some guitar, some bass. It's a music show, right?
Yeah.
Okay, good.
We're gonna hear all the notes.
Good. That's it.
Yeah. Here we go. Oh, here we go. Shaolin Soccer. It's got a 90% on Rotten Tomatoes.
Whoa.
Yeah, and it's got a 4.3 on Amazon.
It's not bad.
Yeah.
For a movie that sounds
Yeah.
with that description, that's not bad.
It's from 2001.
Good year for movies.
Yeah. Wait. Oh, I see what it is. So it was released in 2001 overseas, but it was released in 2004 in the States.
That is a long gap.
Yeah, but
That normally doesn't last that long.
It's really good. I really like it.
All right, 2004. All right, I'll watch it.
Good.
Okay. In fact, I may just go watch it right now.
All right. Fair enough.
Do you want me to pull it up?
Yeah, bring it. Let's do it.
You want me to share my screen and we can just watch it?
Yeah, man. I'm so down. I'm so down to watch this movie.
What if that was a whole block of this night?
It's just like, hey, let's get copyright strikes.
Yeah, we bump everyone else from the show.
Yeah.
By the way, someone said, this sucks, I'm leaving.
Oh, Rickshaw? Yeah.
Someone, yep. How'd you know that?
Because that's what Rickshaw posts on every single one of your streams.
What season is this? I'm catching up.
Well, this is spring going into summer.
Someone wants to know if this is a rerun.
Oh, yes, this is a rerun.
By the way, we were talking about NBC shows earlier, about what we watched when we were a kid, and like what was on like regular television.
Mm-hmm.
But you're only, I mean, what, you're like a couple years younger than me. So what were you watching on TV? Were you watching your stuff, or were you watching stuff that like was primetime television?
I mean, I never was. Let me think. I watched a lot of Comedy Central as a kid. I watched a lot of like Reno 911 and watched Family Guy a fair amount. I watched. I'm trying to think what I really, because I didn't watch like NBC. Like I knew Comedy Central, and I watched a lot of Boomerang. I don't know if you remember the channel Boomerang.
I love Boomerang.
I loved Boomerang because it didn't have commercials. Like that is why I gravitated towards that channel, because I hated commercials as a kid.
Oh, commercials are the worst.
Yeah, especially when you're a kid. Like now I can at least see the humor in some of them and they make me laugh. Mm-hmm. But like back then I was like, I just want to watch my show.
Well, also commercials are made for the parents that are being forced to watch the show with you. So it's like,
right, yeah. It's not for you. No. So like I watched a lot of Boomerang, Magilla Gorilla, Pink Panther, El Kabong, all that fun shit. And then I also watched like Recess. Remember the movie, the show Recess? And then they did have a movie, I think, where they went to like summer camp or something.
Yeah, I think that's what the movie was.
Yeah, and I watched like Rocket Power and like Billy and Mandy and Dexter's Lab and all that shit.
Yeah, wow. Okay, so we had vastly different childhoods.
Did we?
Because I was watching like first run of like Lost and Heroes.
Yeah, I didn't really watch those shows. I used to actually have nightmares about the X-Files theme as a kid.
You know what? That's so weird that you say that. I was just talking to someone yesterday about that. And I think that's a pretty common thing, that fucking theme song like fucked up a lot of kids.
Yeah, like I would like hear it and I would just run away. I would just run away. And then and I like never, like, I don't know, I was a very scared child. And I'm a very anxious person now. Like the movie When Mars Attacks fucking terrified me as a kid.
The fucking like brain and the eyes, like that.
They were so horrifying. They were horrifying.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, they were just the worst looking things I'd ever seen, and they scared the shit out of me. And then there's a terrible movie called Snakehead Terror that really fucking fucked with me.
Okay.
And it was about, there's these fish called snakeheads, which are real, and they're carnivorous fish that can come out of the water for like 4 or 5 hours at a time. And then the premise of the movie was somebody was pouring growth hormones into the lake where these fish, it was like Lake Placid, except instead of one fuck off alligator, it's like 48-foot long carnivorous fish.
Jesus.
And there's only one scene I really remember from this movie, and it was there. There's an island on this lake that this old woman and this old man lived on, and the old man dies under mysterious circumstances, and the kids who are like investigating the whole thing. They're like college kids. They're investigating the whole thing, and they're like, "Oh, her husband was killed by the snakeheads. We got to go confirm that, because that way we can prove that these snakeheads have been around for a really long time." And so they go to this woman's house, and they're talking with her, and they're like, "So your husband died?" And she's like, "Yeah, he died about 2-3 years ago." And they're like, "And he was murdered by snakeheads, right?" And she was like, "No, I killed him. He's under the floorboards."
That's amazing.
That's like the only scene I remember from this movie at all.
Okay, so that scenario sounds a lot like are you familiar with Faces of Death?
I do. I remember that as a kid. Yeah, I remember seeing bits and pieces of those Faces of Death. Like I saw.
So fucked up that was a mainstream thing at one point.
Oh yeah, there's the Museum of Death that has a bunch of those playing.
Yeah, I went to that a couple of years ago when I was
Yeah.
out in LA, because they won in LA and they've won in like New Orleans and then one in like Paris or something. But the one in LA it was amazing.
Yeah. I think I've seen like 5 or 6 of them. But like what happened was it became like a clickbait thing. Like it'd be like Faces of Death, and then it would just be something brutal, but that didn't actually kill someone, or it would be fake.
Yeah.
Like I remember there was one where it was like a dad blowing up a raft, like a raft, and then the kid jumps on it and his head explodes. The dad's head explodes. And then
You're realistic.
yeah, and it's really fake. And then there was one where I at the time I couldn't catch that it was fake, but looking at it now, it's unbelievably fake. It was like this weird competition in like China where like the guys they're like it's obviously fake, where they were like chopping down like redwood sized trees, and then a guy would stand underneath it and try to catch it. Like it was like a strong competition, but they were chopping down like 50-60 foot trees, and the guy was like this big. He was not big at all. And so like one of the Faces of Death was just the tree squashing him.
Yeah, I feel like they had like a couple really good ones, and then they were like, and then it was just like they just only had fake ones after that. Like, because it seems like there was a lot of
there's
fake.
like the one about the guy who parachuted into like the alligators.
Yeah, that's right. Well, you know the one that I remember, because I remember watching as a kid, and I thought they were all fake.
Yeah.
And then later I found out this one was like real, which is like these people, they went like down to this lake and they jumped in the lake. And then when they came out, they had these giant leeches all over them.
Oh, yeah.
And apparently, like the fucking factory that was like dumping waste into the thing, and it was like making these leeches huge. And after watching that, I was like, that was a good sci-fi film. And then I did more research on it years later, and it was like that was an actual footage. Like that wasn't like one of the faked ones. And I was like, oh my God.
Yeah.
Like I was retroactively disturbed by it. Yeah.
There's an anime that I really enjoyed. They've got a second season out. I just haven't gotten around to watching it. It's called One Punch Man. It's like it's very
you should.
hot. It's hot in the streets, It's hot in the streets. But it's the anime that people recommend. If you don't like anime, watch this one, because it makes fun of a lot of the tropes within anime. And the whole premise is there's a superhero named Saitama, or One Punch Man, who is so powerful he can punch someone anyone and instantly kills him. But he's also so fucking bored because he is so powerful.
Right.
Right. And but there's like in one of the first episodes, there is a villain who is controlling swarms of mosquitoes.
Yeah.
That are literally draining people of all their blood.
I see.
Because the blood gives her power.
That's weird. Hey, Ethan, I've loved this conversation, but we're being given the wrap-up light here.
Okay.
I'm so sorry to cut you off
you're fine.
mid-talk, because we have to transition into our next show.
Okay, let's do it.
So maybe if they want to come in and we'll kind of say hi to them and then get out of here.
What's up?
Oh, Dustin's muted again.
There you go. Hello, Landry.
Hello.
Oh, let's see. We are going to admit Michael Patton. Guys, I put up the links to the donations there. I'll try to share those every once in a while and all that fun stuff because we are trying to raise money here tonight with this stream. Ethan, it was great hearing you on the pod. Good to see you, bud. Landry. Yeah.
I was here.
Yeah, you know. But yeah, we're gonna have Red State Blues coming up next. It is sorry, I don't have a harmonica to play on it or anything like that. It is a political podcast, and we're going to have Michael Patton, and then later we will have Lynn Robertson from the Starlight will be on to talk a little bit. So,
Dustin, before you go on to your show, can I ask you a real quick question?
Yeah.
Did you ever watch the Faces of Death movies?
I have seen one of them. Yes.
Oh, okay.
I believe there was the El Salvador Death Squad was in it or something like that. Yes.
That sounds terrifying.
Yeah, we had open campus lunch in high school, and apparently we watched Faces of Death every once in a while.
Cool.
Yeah.
That sounds cool. All right. Well, Dustin, have a good show.
Yeah.
I'm gonna
hop out. Bye.
All right. See you guys.
I'll see you guys here later on.
All right.
Thanks, Ethan. Oh, I'm sorry.
Michael Patton, are you there with me?
Can you hear me?
I can hear you just fine.
Great.
And I'm waiting to see if we're going to get one of our co-hosts on here in a second. But
you have a picture of me there?
I don't. I just have your name on here, so
okay.
Yeah. So I don't know what the deal is with that.
Hey, Dustin.
Yeah.
If you just hit the show non-video participants, it should pop up his video or his picture.
No, it's not.
Okay. Bye.
Yeah, it's not doing that. Well, I don't know if you guys have. I don't know why I'm not seeing your pictures on there, but that's okay.
Let me start over.
No, I think you're good. I think you're all right. We, my co-host, Daniel, the political manual, is here, and we're gonna get going here in just a second, guys. Daniel, how you doing? Oh, he's connecting to audio currently.
Okay, now I can't hear you.
Oh, I stopped talking, so. Oh, let me see if this will bring it back. Oh, well, no, we don't have any pictures. I don't know why that's happening, but c'est la vie. I know you guys should have those in there, but let's close out that chat and get going. Gentlemen, Dan, can you hear me?
I can hear you.
All right. Daniel, the political manual, and of course, Recycle Michael is here. Guys, welcome to Red State Blues. My compatriots, probably for connection issues or other things, maybe they just don't want you to know what they look like. You'll see their names down there on this podcast. Well, actually, you're probably just going to see me. I think that's how that's going to work.
I can't figure out this darn technology.
But guys, you are listening to or watching Red State Blues. Red State Blues is a podcast based here out of Tulsa, Oklahoma, and it is a podcast for, well, quite frankly, liberals or Democrats living in the great state of Oklahoma. As you guys all know, we are in one of the reddest states of the union, and of course, it makes it life a little bit tough for some of us blues every once in a while. And our podcast drops every Thursday or Friday, depending on when we're able to record, because we've been doing our records outside due to quarantine issues. So sometimes there's a little delay on that. But we are joined today. We're going to have a couple of guests, and we're joined up top with Michael Patton. Michael, would you like to introduce yourself to the fine people out there?
Sure, lifelong Tulsan. I'm quite the liberal. If politics were baseball, I play left field. I stand in foul territory. So I've been involved in politics for a while. I was involved in campaigns in the 80s when I was a younger man, and even ran for office once, and followed it. I'll say I'm a interested party at this point in my life. Yes.
And and then Dan, do you want to tell people about yourself? Anything you want to give people as we get going, since they may not be familiar with you guys?
I also play left field, so this is not going to make a very good baseball softball team because we're overloading the left side, but it is what it is.
Well, it's quite the shift that's ruining baseball. So it is what it is. But okay, so speaking of baseball, normally I know, unfortunately, Michael, I know that you are a big Cardinals fan, and
Yep.
you are currently in the room with a couple pro North Siders, some Chicago fans in here.
No worries. It's baseball though, but I went to 23 Cardinal games in Busch last year, and 1 Royals game in Kansas City, and 22 Driller games. So it's not just Cardinals. I like the Cardinals. My son's middle name is McGuire. He's 21 years old. There's a lot of there. But no, I'm not bad. I don't hate the Cubs. I love baseball. I mean, my ex-wife said, you love baseball more than me. And I said, I love her more than football. I mean, I thought that was a compliment. It wasn't.
Now, all right, Michael, we decided, Dan and I, we have recently done a few podcasts talking about the life that we've been living here in COVID-19 world. And the reality of it is we wanted to get you on to get your perspective on it, but also, we have Lynn Robertson hopefully coming up at 7:30. If she can get logged in, she's going to tell us about what it's like to be a small business owner in this time. But today's just sort of talking about opening up. We believe on this podcast that we've opened up the state way too early. What are your thoughts on that, Mike?
Yeah, I'm afraid as well. So what is the definition of open up? At this point, people are brazenly feel like life is back to normal. And I'm scared. I mean, I am over 60. I am more of a risk probably than the average listener or person on this podcast in most cases. Seniors do have special concerns. And I mean, you've always wanted to kill a boomer. Now all I have to do is cough on us. Go for it.
Are you saying that this whole COVID-19 is a vast conspiracy created by Zoomers to kill boomers?
I wouldn't say those are the group going to kill us, and I'm not saying we're expendable either. But yeah, I think that it affects, and I think that's true of anything that goes through a herd. So the weaker, older ones are the ones who first get it. And there's other issues. Now, on the other hand, it's not just the physical side. I mean, seniors, I'm 61, I'll be 62 in a couple of months. People who are on the bomb have the boomers and stuff, but we do have some other concerns besides that. But many of us are retired, so it was easier on us. And just if isolation causes depression, well, 1 out of 7 people under 29 have depression, and it goes between 25 and 49 to half that, and then again half that by the time you turn 60. So you go from 1 out of 7 to 1 out of 14 to 1 out of 28. So there's some things that seniors are a little more resilient about. I'd say probably the hardest thing isn't the health things for us, because I am afraid. I personally am scared to death and still wear a mask and will for a long time. And but it's what's happened in our lifestyles. If you ask a young person what's the most important thing to them, they'll give you a bunch of answers. They'll give you music or friends or travel. If you ask an old person, it's family. And this has really kept old people from seeing their families. And there's been a real issue there as well.
Yeah, I've heard that one of the big issues with people being in the hospital with COVID-19 has to do with the reality that kind of the loneliness aspect of it and not being able to be visited by your relatives, and that has led to some of the more fatalities with this horrible disease.
I'd say that my views on the opening up, I read the Federalist Papers. I understand the powers of the federal government and state governments, and I know all that. We can talk about that quite a bit, how the overreach and who's in charge, but I'm more of the local concern. I mean, Gandhi said the soul of India lies in its villages. And I really think that's true. I think that we live in a 10-mile circle. That's the first thing you look at in a retail environment. If you're going to put a new grocery store or new shop in, is what happens in 10 miles. We live in micro towns, and we live in a big city, so we have more risk than people who live in a smaller community have, just because of chance for exposure. But that 10-mile circle, can we live in that? And then will that change our lives? Seniors have, when I retire, it's either going to be golf, fish, or travel. And golfing and fishing are pretty safe, but travel may be off the board now. And one last thing I want to say, just from the senior perspective on this, I know it's not the same. I mean, we have many advantages. So we already have good health care. I mean, it's already retired and such, but there's some things that have happened economically that, I mean, they're not the same as being completely jobless. But I mean, if you're a senior and you save $30 a week for 25 years of your life, you now have $100,000, and the stock market's dropped 20% since Valentine's Day. So you sacrificed $30 a week for 25 years of your life, and now you've lost $20,000. I mean, I'm a little bit better than that because I have different investments, but that's what the Dow has done. So, I mean, that's 12 years of sacrifices that are just gone suddenly, and you were counting on that. So there's issues there. And I realize that's a very minor thing in comparison, but this has had a big impact. So I can see why some people want the economy to go back. They really want, if nothing else, the portfolios to go back. So there's a lot of pressure there for them. I am just still afraid. I am trusting the local authorities on this. I'm trusting I think I'm maybe thinking globally, but I'm acting locally.
And that's a very good. I did have to. I had to venture out today. My mom needed some bleach. They were working on a project, and she didn't want to have to go to the store. Being at a more advanced age, and so I went to the store for her. I did first ask her if she was going to inject that bleach, which fortunately she said no. But yeah, I was a little disheartened to see the vast amount of people who have just simply eschewed all the precautions and just sort of said, screw it. I feel we're back open completely. Certainly, it was not it wasn't very great to see that. So I don't know, like there is no good date. And, Dan can chime in on this too. But, I had originally sort of thought that June 1st date was like the earliest that we should even contemplate reopening. But the reality of it is that now with, a good chunk of the population deciding to just say, screw it, it's sort of like, well, I guess you should just open it back up because there's a good chunk of people that aren't caring right now. Dan, what are your thoughts?
Yeah, I completely agree that, we are opening too soon, but I feel like that is because our leadership has said, let's open up, it's over. We've rode the wave, and the wave is cresting and everything is good. Obviously the science does not support that, but when you have state and national leadership that says that, then it gives cover for people like Tally, who runs Tally's Diner at 11th and Yale. It gives them cover to, open up and be irresponsible. I was especially discouraged by the fact that he was on Channel 6 today and was not wearing a mask. I thought that was very disappointing and set a bad precedent. But you know, if that's what our leadership is gonna, you know, try to sell, then that's what we're going to see for more and more business owners. And business owners are in an impossible situation because they have to either stay closed and potentially, you know, go out of business and die, or open up and put people at risk. And so it's a really horrible situation, and I'm not very happy with it. But that's the people we put in office.
Yeah.
I think, the wearing the mask is truly the part for me. When I feel like I'm not going to look down on people for not wearing a mask, is the right time to open. So I hate to say it that way. They're going to be so judgmental. You know, oh, you can't play with those kids down the street. Their parents don't wear a mask. I mean, it's going to be that much for a while. And I'm trying not to be this way. I'm trying not to think everything is political. And how dare they put their risk to my child and to me by not doing these things I think are responsible. So if I keep going out and I see people without masks, I'm judging them. Until I stop judging them, to me, is going to be when I feel we should open up again. I have no idea when that's going to be. Maybe that is June 1st. I certainly would love to go do things. I love baseball games, and I think there's ways to do it. But I have no idea when that date is. And maybe it's not summer. Maybe it is fall. The very first thing in the guideline says 14 consecutive days of lower. And with full testing, I think we can really begin for the first time our 14-day clock. And once we have those 14 days, I will feel different. Or if there's a vaccine, or if there's tremendous medicines that impact it dramatically. Those things don't exist. So how can we possibly say date until those things exist?
We're so far away from that, unfortunately.
Well, the good news is, gentlemen, if we do have a massive malaria outbreak, this great state of Oklahoma is well prepared for that. So if all of a sudden we become a swamp and everyone just starts contracting malaria, our lovely governor, who spent $2 million on buying a drug that does nothing for COVID-19, has really done well by us so far.
Well, if we become a swamp, we will be able to drain it.
I'm still afraid of airborne and pest-borne diseases. I mean, mosquitoes are still a big issue. In fact, this last week, the Tulsa City County Health Department put out there, and the mayor mentioned it, and the health department guy both did in their remarks, that mosquito season has started. So they'll come and spray for you. Your local government will do that for you. All it takes is 5 different people to call in the same zip code, and they'll spray your zip code. And mosquitoes may be a problem. It could be that other diseases in our past have done that. But it is weird that our government felt, and we weren't the only ones. There was 22 million, I said, 22 million from Oklahoma, but 22 million from different governors around the states who did the same thing. And why are they in the hoarding business? What made them feel like? And what kind of procedures did you follow in such a rush? I really believe in the transparency of government when procedures are followed, when things have to be bid out, and emergencies, especially for things that are not normal business stuff. I mean, what's the city doing? What's the state of Oklahoma doing in the pharmacy business? That was crazy. I mean, there's not state-run pharmacies even. So what's the deal? That was really crazy to feel like they should be in a bidding war. Today, I saw that a couple of states were hiding their testing equipment from the federal government, and they had it in special places because they were afraid of being raided. So whose rights are greater here? I mean, is the federal government's right to get these and distribute them, allocate as they see fit, or is it the government themselves to see and they allocate? There's a lot of political questions on this crisis that I think we're going to be really interesting. But the hoarding of supplies and the chance of medicines, what crazy reaction is that for political leadership? That's not leadership. That's overreaction.
Yeah, it's definitely an overreaction, and especially when there was no, like, I could see if there's going to be some sort of distribution network, but there wasn't, and it's also a drug that's ineffectual. So I mean, it's just a complete waste of all of our resources. But
if we're going to talk about the federal government's response to this, we should probably look at Jared Kushner and his statement that the federal supply is not the state supply, and that the federal supply needs to be stocked up in lieu of stocking up the state supply, which it's insane. The federal government is there to serve the states, and yet we're fighting state by state for resources. It's insane to me.
Well, in the 10th Amendment, it says very clearly that all things not prescribed in the Constitution for the federal government are roles of the state. And they didn't, of course, have a crisis back then. I think there'd be a pandemic of fighting for supplies and testing equipment. So, I mean, that federalism question, it all changed in the 30s when the federal government started giving grants to states, and then changed again in the 60s when they started having strings attached to those grants. And this is even gone one step further. You must kiss the ass of the president to get these things. It's unprecedented, and how this thing has changed over the years of what states must do to get supplies, and the role of the federal government to the state government. It's clearly the federal government feels like we will take the taxation, we will then fund you as we see fit. So it has changed dramatically. It is that recognition. It's gone from grants, like I said, grants to strings to now kiss ass. And that's the wrong way to run, I think, our tax dollars. Very little transparency. Everything becomes almost ward politics. So it's a wrong way to have any kind of leadership.
Agreed. It's true. It's truly disgusting.
Well, I'm not a heavy political guy anymore. Like I said, I've been blue my whole life. I've never voted for a congressman who's ever won. I've lived here in Tulsa my whole life. It's really a sad thing to feel like my representative of the federal government, the one guy who does give me a passport or a deal if I have a problem with the federal government, like the IRS or the EPA, my one representative has never been someone that I've supported. I mean, even with my own ballot. So that is a sad thing. We are the reddest state, and I hope we could become more blue in some things. But I don't think with the federal government issues on this, if we're just talking straight politics, I don't think this is a straight political thing. I think we have an ineffective leader right now. I think we have a guy who's has failed or been a crook. He's cheated on every wife. He's cheated on every business. His bankruptcies have been out. He's bereft of any kind of moral compass. So a lot of these problems, and I don't think the federal government feels that way. I would trust other leadership in this. I think I would trust almost any other president to at least try the right thing. I mean, he may have been Bush and had probably, a heck of a job brownie and intellectual people there. But he would have tried. He would have had shown empathy. There's no empathy here at all. Everything's political. Everything is supposed to be a conspiracy against him or a hoax, or now somehow trying to hurt his reelection chances. So the single narcissism on this has really hurt more than anything else. And maybe it will change. Maybe that this will be where the biggest thing we get out of this is not that we all become deeper souls, that we split up the Republican Party. There's the half that support Donald Trump and the half that feel like he's the wrong person to be in charge of the party. That would be great for America. And I would hope the same thing would happen to the blue party, that they would follow the lead, and there would be a light blue and a dark blue and a dark red and a light red. And then we'd only hate 1/4 of the people rather than 1/2 of the people. It wouldn't just be a simple coin flip of what we want to do. So, but I think a lot of these issues have been because we have people who are business people in both state government and also who've never been in any political force and never did anything. Remember that our governor barely voted. So Trump and Stitt run from a business perspective, and they don't have that understanding. They think of things as a businessman. That's who they represent. They represent the business community, and they don't represent the voters. They don't represent the people. They don't respect the workers. And they're both histories show it by the way they run their businesses. So that's the problem. That's why I'm a Democrat. You can be proud of the rich, and you can also be ashamed of the poor. But I focus on the other side. It makes me more of a liberal in every way, in every conversation. So I'm ashamed that the country has this and does things wrong.
Landry Miller has said in our text that he's officially endorsing you, Michael, to fix all the problems. Now, I do see that Lynn has joined us, and we will get her on at 7:30 to talk about what it's like to be a small business owner in this time and how to do that. And so in a few minutes, about 10 minutes, we'll get to Lynn. Now, Michael, we talked about all the COVID and things like that, but, it is a big election year, and you're a big man around town in the circles. I think the word we've used on some other podcasts in the past is you're a gadfly, I think. But what, are there some key local races or any state questions you would like to alert our Oklahoma listeners to?
From the Tulsa perspective, yeah, I could look up a couple of things for this. There's also, we'll see what elections happen. I mean, there's a lot of issues right now. The League of Women Voters, I used to serve on the board here in Tulsa. I was the one dude on League of Women Voters for a while. I was proud of my service. I registered people. I went to naturalization ceremonies and was the first person when you first became an American citizen with a clipboard saying, do you want to vote? I went to all kinds of events. I mean, high schools and stuff to get kids that were turning 18 and work on these things. So there's a lot to what I really cared. I mean, I really thought I was a kind of a pimp for democracy. So, but it has changed a lot of this. I think that the two-party system has made a lot worse for us, and I wish we had a better chance for this. Locally, if we're talking about the village side, the economic center of Tulsa, our 10-mile circles and stuff, and that's city council races. They file for office in June. I think all 9 incumbents are going to file for a re-election. I know a few have already some announced opponents. I know the 7, there's an announced opponent from there. You'll see a split. You know, another thing interestingly is how GT Bynum handles the police department on this. And he had just appointed a new chief. There's been a lot of issues there. There's a lot of distrust in police, as there should be in America, and a lot of different factors there. But the police union, the FOP in Tulsa is fairly powerful for what they do in terms of social presence and media. They have a lot of reporters who like them, but really they only have about 500 police officers who live in the city limits. But they've never endorsed an incumbent mayor. I think in my lifetime, I know for sure since the 60s, they've not. There's never been a mayor good enough for them. So it's interesting. GT's gone out of their way, but now, I mean, Bill LaFortune gave them take-home vehicles with no mileage restrictions, and he gave pay raises to the police and fire, and then went and furloughed all the other workers. And I mean, to a point, GT's done the same thing with this. He's given all the other workers 10% pay cuts, half a day off per week. And he didn't do that to the sworn officers, which is the police and fire. So it's still, unfortunately, did the same thing. And they still didn't endorse him. They did endorse Randy Miller in the primary against him. He beat her, and then they announced they endorsed Kathy Taylor, who ended up beating him in the general election. So, but it'll be interesting. I think that the council right now has done a good job of focusing on social issues. I mean, 1921, the race massacre is a lot of the minds of local officials now and such, and they've done a good job of having those discussions of the social issues of the community. And they just trusted the mayor. They've trusted him to make the budget and make the decisions and build the cabinet, which is the way a strong mayor form of government should go. He's got 2 more years for re-election. I have no idea if he'll run again. Clearly at that time, we'll also have Senate elections happening. So I think he has bigger aspirations. I certainly hope he does. I would support him and have for a long time.
Well, and maybe, you know, Dan can speak to this a little bit too, but we've talked about on the pod before that it certainly seems like a lot of people have turned against Governor Stitt, even within his own party. Do you see either GT Bynum or the mayor of Oklahoma City maybe making a run for that governorship when it's up?
In 2022, I could definitely see that. I think the fact that sorry, my internet was cutting out. I feel like he or Mayor Holt would be a better choice than GT Bynum, or GT Bynum would be a better choice than Governor Stitt, because I mean, if you look at the support that even the Oklahoma Republicans have, they did not want Governor Stitt. They wanted Todd Lamb. He was the lieutenant governor. That's who they wanted as their person, and they didn't get him. So that's why you're seeing Mike Hunter, the AG, fighting against Stitt. You're seeing the tribes fight against Stitt. Everybody's fighting against Stitt, and we're getting nothing done. So yes, I feel like either one of those Republicans would be better as governor than our current governor.
Well, yeah. The lack of leadership we've seen all across the board from anybody in higher positions of power has been somewhat disheartening, I think, to say the least, in this situation. Now, Michael,
there were a couple of state races I wanted to mention.
Yeah, go for it, Michael.
So there is state elections going on. A number of the Senate for re-election. State House representatives are all up for re-election. There's an interesting one happening in North Tulsa. Monroe Nichols is the incumbent. He won and he beat Maria Barnes, who was a past city councilor. And he won by 89 votes last time, and she's filed a run against him this time. He's done a good job, in my opinion, and will probably have support because of the way he's trying to build coalitions. But there'll be interesting, and of course, a race that will be discovered or decided in the primary. It's a heavy Democratic seat. There is a couple of seats that are coming up for state senator that are really fascinating. So the Gary Stanislawski's seat, he's termed out now after 12 years, and who's really the Midtown of Tulsa seat, the state senator there. Everything that's not Dave Rader is his side of Tulsa. The Democratic side has three really strong candidates. Carly Hotvet, she's an attorney, has worked for Cherokee Nation, works for another tribal now. Joanne Dossett, whose brother J.G. Dossett is a state senator, and Stan Young, who's a retired Navy, very involved in Democratic politics and veterans issues and stuff. They're all running for the Democratic side. The Republican side, Cheryl Baber, who's ran before for state representative, Kaiden Creekbaum, and Linda Morrissey, who's a retired judge, who's a lot of name recognition for being a judge and running all the time there and stuff. We're all excellent candidates. So that's going to be really interesting to see who comes out of the primary from those. I say that I probably had to pick the favorites. It'd be Linda Morrissey and Joanna Dossett, but who knows? But one other race is District 37, which is more of West Side, and Allison Eichley Freeman won that in a great upset. A Democrat who upset. It's a district that's heavily Republican, but she won it a special election and won. It has two opponents, Cody Rogers and Chris Emerson on the Republican side. The seat is a Republican seat. She won it. She's done a good job. Be interesting to see if she can do this. She's got, I think, the best campaign right now I see. So probably the most important race, if you're a Democrat trying to get involved in a state Senate race, is 37 for Allison Eichley Freeman. But it will be interesting to see that she has no opponents in the primary. So she's got work to go there. Most of the other seats for the state are pretty well decided. There's even the state House seats don't seem to be a lot of turnover. There was so much turnover in the last three elections that and with term limits at 12 years, we literally had more than 50% turnover every election, which can mean that the lobbyists have more power. So I think there is a risk of having this. If they're the ones who know what goes on, the staffers and the lobbyists who have their own relationships with each other, the elected officials just become spokespeople. You know, they get to thumbs up and thumbs down, but don't really make decisions. They vote on things as they come. So, which is not healthy either. There's got to be an even balance there between the two. I do believe in some institutional knowledge that we do lose sometimes.
And I believe the Dave Rader seat, Shauna Mont Wright, who is very heavily involved. She's the NEA advocate for the OEA. You know,
yeah, I know Shauna pretty well. I used to have a radio show, and she was a guest on my show talking politics. So she's basically the union rep for education. So I see her every Tuesday at State Capitol, fighting for education issues. Dave, the thing I'll say about Dave, I know Dave, we played junior high football together and high school football together. Dave is always a great guy. I will never say a bad thing about him. He's always a team player. And that's what he is still with his own party. He's a team player for them. And she's running that he is on the wrong team. So she's pretty smart. It'll be an interesting race. He's an incumbent. He'll be well funded. It'll be a hard race for her to upset him in. But she's good, and she knows what she does, and she does a good job. And her job as a lobbyist for education. I give her a lot of credit for a lot of things that are happening.
Well, I forget the nickname that they gave Dave down there, but it was something like, basically like Frat House Dave or something like that. He just sort of, he just goes with the flow for the most part there.
My relationship, he's good. He reaches out to me. He knows I do environmental work. So he has my cell phone number. There's 9 different elected officials who I have access to. And it's because I wrote checks to 14 people. I wrote $50 checks to 14 friends running for office, and 9 of them won. So I don't have a lot of access, but they know who I am. They have my number. And Dave's one of the people who reaches out and says, hey, this is happening. He knows I'll tell him both sides. He knows I'm a slant. We all do. We all have an angle. We have to. I mean, there's not an unbiased opinion of an informed person ever. But he will. I'll tell him both sides, and so he's smart enough to reach out. So, and I like that. I think Charlotte would do the same thing. And I think a lot of these elected officials, if nothing else, they lose their role. They don't know who they are anymore. A state representative becomes a rodeo clown. I mean, all they are. Their job is to distract the bull, and unfortunately, we're often the bull, and so that's the problem.
Yeah, and I think like we try to say on this pod, being part of having to deal with our state legislator here in Oklahoma is always rough when you are a liberal and a Democrat. And when those things are rough and you're trying to deal with that, it always helps to go out and be able to go get a drink, but you can't do that right now, which is why we're going to transition in. And Michael, you're welcome to stay on here, but we're going to yeah, Dan, what'd you say? We're going to bring in Lynn Robertson here to one of the owners of the Starlight Lounge here in Tulsa, Oklahoma, who has been very much affected by the COVID-19. Lynn, how are you doing?
Doing well. Hang in there.
You have been very patient listening to us ramble on about politics there. I appreciate it. I do appreciate that you have the most spectacular background of any guest we've had on. I believe Ethan Sandoval was just wearing his gaming headset, sitting on his bed, and I'm in my office and things like that. And then these two guys here, they just don't want to show their faces, I suppose. But
I can't figure out the camera thing.
You don't want the government to take it over, right?
The government.
So Lynn, why don't you just start off? Tell us a little bit about yourself. Tell us about your history here in Tulsa in the industry and how you've seen things change over time. But then also, we certainly want to talk about what it's been like trying to deal with this situation right now where we're on lockdown.
Well, I'm Lynn Robertson. My husband is Rob Robertson, otherwise known as DJ Robbo. And we both have been in the bar industry and the entertainment industry here in town for 20 years. I've done a lot as far as the bartending field. Rob has been a DJ, and then we also do large scale events like 80s prom at Kane's Ballroom. That also got postponed this year. It should have happened last Saturday. So that was also a big setback for us. That's something we've been doing. This would have been our 18th year of doing it. And so that was also postponed. But we just opened our own bar, which was kind of our big dream, October of 2017. And everything had been going great. Everything was great. We have a wonderful clientele. We have all of that. And then, of course, this happened. And so bars, of course, as you know, like many other things, we were pretty much the first people to be shut down and will be some of the last people to be opened back up. And so, yeah, it's been quite difficult. My initial worry was for my employees. And luckily with this going on, most of them, well, number one, we've had an amazing outpouring from our patrons and the community around us. And they were able to, we started a Cash App. We were able to raise quite a few funds to just give to our employees to help them through this time. Most of my employees have either found other part-time employment during this time or are collecting unemployment. We were denied on the first round of the payroll protection because a bunch of other people got it instead of us little tiny small guys. We're hoping to get counted in on this next round coming up so that we can also, kind of cover some of our costs and get some money out to our employees. That was my biggest thing. But for us, really our biggest, most saving grace and through all of this, because we have been denied for all of the grants and loans and stuff that we have applied for, is our community and our patrons. Like, they have really, really, really come together and helped sustain us. And I don't know if we would have made it through all of this had it not been for all of the help that we have gotten from our community and from our friends and patrons. And then also we've been getting a little bit of a revenue by doing live casts. So that's why I have this awesome background.
Yes. Yeah. If you guys don't follow the Starlight on social media, you definitely need to. They have been doing some awesome, they did a mock 80, they did a virtual 80s prom on Saturday. I think I caught almost the whole thing. I think I fell asleep around 1 o'clock or something like that. But yeah, there's Lynn TV throughout the week, and Rob's been doing some stuff. It's all great. So you guys should follow them. It makes for some great entertainment. It kind of feels like a party's going on when there's not a party going on, right? Now, Lynn, I know, one, shout out to you. And first of all, I'm going to share this screen with everybody. This is the donation links. If you want to donate to our PayPal pool, our Cash App, yeah, they're my Cash Apps, but everything will go directly to establishments like the Starlight. It will go to bartenders, comedians, musicians, things like that are still out of work. Because my fear is, Lynn, and maybe you can talk about this a little bit. My fear is that I think that a lot of people have been obviously supporting their favorite establishments, buying food and also buying drinks, the home drink delivery and things like that. I'm worried that as we open up, people will not realize that there still is that struggle out there, and they will start to pull back on that. Have you put any thoughts into that?
Yeah, it's actually already started to happen. This last week, as far as like my home delivery sales have reduced drastically, with people getting ready to go back to work and people that can go to restaurants and go get drinks and things like that now that those have started to open back up. So yeah, it has been a dramatic drop. We would at least get a few sales a day, and in this past week we've gone several days with absolutely nothing. So yeah, that's definitely making a difference. And then also on top of that, being in a bar, it's a little bit of a worry because we absolutely are among the stance that we are not going to open this bar back up until we know things are absolutely safe. So even if phase 2 comes through May 15th, I'm highly doubting that we would even be opening at that time, which kind of, when people can go to another bar, why are they going to order, drinks from you? So that is a very real concern right now going into this.
Dan, do you have any questions for Lynn here? I know I've been dominating a little bit here. I want to give you a chance to ask some questions. Okay, Dan, you there?
Sorry, I was eating a little bit of dinner. No, I think we need to pay attention to who is open and who is not, and if you support their decision to open or not open, that you should show that in your patronage.
So that's one of the things, Lynn, that I've been harping on this week about people. I really think it's unfair that you, as a small business owner, is having to make that decision. Like it really shouldn't be. Not that I don't trust you to make the right decision. It's just that I don't think you should have to make that decision. I think about it. Especially bars are a key industry in this because, like, while people have their favorite bars and places that they love to go, if one opens and you just really want to go out to a bar, you're going to make your choice to go to the one that's open. Now, personally for me, and I know I can speak for Dan on this because he's a CEO, but we are of that ilk that we believe we're opening way too early. And we all believe that, you guys have been put in such a tough position to deal with this that it's just really quite unfair. But you know what? I do want to tell people this. You just said the home deliveries. Like, people can find you guys on Facebook. Mm-hmm. Facebook.com. Is it Facebook.com/The Starlight?
It's the Starlight Bar.
Okay, the Starlight Bar. So if you type in Starlight Bar and you live in the Tulsa area, you're gonna get it. But yeah, go check out their menu because some of the stuff that Lynn has been doing is like blowing some of the other places out of the water. Because they're making like special mixes that you can emulate cocktails at home and stuff like that. And we'll talk a little bit more about businesses opening, but have you had is there any positive that you've had being stuck at home at this point? Like, have you had just more time to think or do stuff? Have you been able to do improvements at the bar?
I've actually been probably more busy than I was before this happened, between the deliveries, which are extremely, time consuming. Yeah. Whenever, especially during Easter time when we did these baskets and dressed Rob up like a bunny, it was kind of nonstop. That was
great. I think I still have
it was insane. It was insane for a few days. And then on top of that, the live casts, we're doing that 3 times a week, and keeping that together and keeping music and keeping that fresh as well. Is quite time consuming. I will tell you, I absolutely love doing the live casts. Like, I almost want to keep doing them after this is over. I have so much fun doing them. It's been a really great way to connect with people and do something different that we haven't really done before. Like, I've never got to be like an MTV VJ, which is what I'm doing on Tuesday nights. And it's one of the funnest things I've ever really done. Totally different from live DJing. So that's been like a lot of fun. So yes, and that's where we're working on right now, is we're going in and doing the deep cleaning and improvements and touching up paint and adding new stuff and doing all that stuff to the bar right now. That's been our focus.
from a from a consumer standpoint, I've seen the pictures from various other bars around town. I know the Merc, Reggie down there at the Merc has like redone his bathroom, and I was like, oh man, that's going to be weird to walk into a clean, nice bathroom at the Mercury Lounge, right? Now, being in the industry, and Dan and I have had some discussions about some of the stuff that has changed, and I know maybe for bars it's not quite going to be the same, but like, would you like to see some of the abilities that you have been given to like sell stuff out the door or curbside or deliveries stick around after this? I mean, I know in other states you can go to a bar and you can leave with a 6-pack. Would you think that might be a nice concession to give some of these business owners that have been struggling?
Yeah, I think it would be an excellent thing to do. I think it would be super helpful, especially for people like us. And we're a neighborhood bar. So it's there are people who have been ordering from me now that could literally walk over and grab a 6-pack of beer if they don't want to sit and hang out at the bar. And that could be a huge thing to help pad us through this transition where people are slowly coming back out. It would be extremely, extremely helpful.
Anyone that knows me knows I'm a huge fan of, to-go hurricanes, or like the daiquiri stands in Louisiana.
Oh, yeah.
Like that's my dream. Like, let's just get that going, baby. I want, I know you got to put that little piece of tape over the straw hole, but like, let's get that rocking and rolling.
I'm fairly certain if I got those frozen Jack and Cokes for you in that machine, and you could take them to go, I'd see you on a daily basis.
Yeah, probably. You'd have to install a little drive-up, drive-up window somewhere.
Yeah.
Like that. Dan, you got some other stuff there for Lynn you want to talk about? Have you, Dan, have you been taking advantage of the deliveries from places, especially food and beverages and things like that?
Well, my lady friend has taken advantage of the bar sales situation that we're in right now, including the Starlight, because we like the Starlight and we want to be back at the Starlight once this is all over. We want there to be a Starlight.
Lynn, you would recognize Dan's, I always call her his heterosexual life partner. You would recognize her. She's probably got the second most distinctive laugh in the Starlight, obviously you being first, but like if you're there on a comedy night, you can definitely know who she is.
I think I know exactly who you're talking about.
All the comedian friends love when I get her to come out, because they always know there's going to be one person they can focus on and make themselves. When you're dealing with people like Landry Miller, who can barely get a laugh out of anybody. But,
I'm wearing my Peter Bedgood shirt today.
Oh, nice. But hey, that is a shout out to you and the network. Landry's obviously a very, very funny person, and you guys were nice enough to give Talk Show Incorporated a new home. And when we get back to some normalcy, to quote a president from the past, we could, it'd be great. Hopefully, people will come out and check out some of those shows and get out there. It's kind of crazy. I don't know. Before COVID-19, before the lockdown, it was always good. It always kind of felt good to just be like, hey, I'm going to cancel this plan tonight, right? I don't need to go out, right? Or something like that. Now it's just like, oh my God, I don't care. Like, you could have like, Icelandic death metal music, and fine, let's go listen. Let's do it.
Exactly.
And I know that Dan's been, he's just like me, like we've been getting a little stir crazy. Has that ability to do the live streams really sort of given you that outlet to be able to sort of still feel that connection with people that you miss? Because I know bartenders and bar owners are they're people of the people, right? And you kind of need that. I know you expressly, Lynn, you're probably missing that aspect of it. So.
I spent the past 15 years of my life at least 2 to 3 times a week being behind a bar or behind a DJ booth or in the bar hosting and being around people. So having that completely over was a insane shock to my system. Really, really difficult for me, not just because I'm an extrovert, but also just because that has become such a part of my life. The live streams have really been the only thing I think that have really kept me sane through that, and having the chat aspect available and being able to feel like I'm connecting with those same people and kind of still feel like we're having that social engagement. In fact, a week ago, we had an electrical surge here that fried all of our equipment.
No. When it rains, it pours, right?
The day before the 80s prom thing. It was quite insane. And I had a complete mental breakdown. Like I cried for like 3 hours straight. But luckily through the help of, friends and everyone around us, namely my friend Jeff Whitlatch, he was able to loan us like his controller and help us, get everything back up and running. We were able to continue those live casts. And I don't think it was until then that I realized how incredibly important they were to me as an individual, just having that outlet.
Certainly, I feel your pain in that. I have been, I think as an educator, and we've been dealing with, distance learning and trying to do all that fun stuff and technology, a little crash course here and there, and especially in Zoom and Google Meets and all that fun stuff. And when something doesn't work or goes down, it is just so incredibly frustrating.
Oh yeah.
I will say your 80s prom night the other night took me way back, because I used to have RIP. I had a hard drive with probably like 500 1980s music videos in it, and like some of those, I got some of those gems in your live stream there that I saw that I hadn't seen in a while, and always like to pull them up and check those things out. Now we don't have like a timeline really. Like, did you have a date in your mind originally, or was it always sort of like, we're just going to be super data driven, and when we see that it seems safe according to the officials? Or I was always kind of a June 1st guy. So
I'm right there with you. I had set in my head somewhere in between June and July. That was just always kind of been what's going through my head. And I'm still that's where I'm at this point.
So we have, and Dan and I, we recorded a podcast the other day, and we were talking, and the lack of guidelines. So the people that, like, I have a gym that I go to regularly, and I give a big shout out to the owner of that gym, Gymology Tulsa, great gym, great guy. He like messaged me and he was like, have you seen anything for any guidelines on what we're supposed to be doing? And the reality of it is, like, if you are a bigger bar, maybe you can have some capacity in there, but if you're supposed to be 6 feet apart from people you don't live with, and like, how do you even, you as a bar owner, if like a group of 4 people walked in and wanted to sit together, like, are you going to tell them no? I mean, like, what, like.
Yeah, and that's where it's really just been like, Rob and I have been talking back and forth for the, ever since they've started the, the talk of reopening about how exactly to handle that. And it's really difficult because, number one, like, I'm a big proponent for wearing masks in public, but you can't drink drinks and wear a mask. I mean, I guess you can stick a straw like up under your mask, but like,
well, see,
bars are not very cohesive. They're not very like conducive to social distancing. People come to chat and to be together, and to be like, okay, everybody sit far apart. It becomes super difficult.
Okay, Lynn, hear me out. Maybe this is how you'll build your empire. You develop the COVID-19 mask that has a retractable straw in it that can go out. It just, you can drink, and maybe have a cap you can screw on at the end of it or something like
it's
that.
A pretty genius idea. And then we'll just remove, like, we'll put chairs strategically throughout and just be like, that's where you have to sit. We'll allow 15 people in at a time. And it's like, okay, you're going to have to yell a little bit less safe.
Dan, what's your feeling on, what do you think it would look like for these places to try to reopen, and the feasibility of it?
It's not time yet, so it's hard to imagine what it'll look like when it will be the proper time. It's not the proper time right now. Right now.
Yeah, and I want to give a big shout out to all those other places that are being responsible, just like Lynn and Rob at the Starlight. Just the ones I've seen. Obviously, I've got through Tulsa Athletic close ties with Sonny D'Alessandro. D'Alessandro's staying open. I know McNelly's has done their enhanced curbside, whatever they call it, with just like a couple tables and reservations. Let's see some other ones out there. There's lots of them that are being responsible.
I know Libby with Elote and Rapongi and all of her stuff is staying closed for now, and Lone Wolf as well is continuing to do curbside.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
I will say, yeah,
I saw Libby did a story on I think it was KWGS about how she's gonna stay shut down until it's healthy and appropriate for her to open. And I really appreciate her doing that.
yeah, I mean, I think that's one of those things you need to remember who's been your ally in this time and who's not, you know, and when everything is back open or we get to a place where we feel comfortable about going out, you know, as you said before, Dan, those are the people you need to, you know, maybe give your more of your business to because they actually cared enough to care about you and the rest of society as opposed to just, you know, and I get it, man. It's rough, you know. I think about it certainly with bars. I think about it with like dine-in pizza restaurants, you know, because there's like lots of competition between those places. If one opens, you know, you're going to lose business because there are going to be those people. Sadly, like I said earlier, I was out and about today, and they just don't care. I mean, I can't stand wearing that mask as much as anyone else. Like I wear glasses. Mask and glasses do not go hand. They are not good friends. So
It's a bummer.
it is a bummer.
Well,
Lynn,
and one of the things
yeah.
I was thinking about, just to interject too, I think is going to be really weird for us personally, is one of our biggest things and our bread and butter and the thing that has kept our business alive for very much of the time we've been alive is karaoke. And karaoke is going to change drastically after all of this, once we can even let it happen, because you're thinking about people like, you know, putting something in front of their face like this and like, you know, getting all over it and then handing it to the next person, the same mic. Now we have purchased like, you know, covers and things like that, but at the same time, just the proximity and everything like that. I mean, the whole way that we structure that night and even when and if it will continue is just completely up in the air.
Well, you know, I think maybe for some people, not having a microphone might be better for us.
No kidding.
You know, just learn to project, sing from the diaphragm, project, and you'll be good to go, right? I need to check out real quick, guys. I had some word that maybe we lost the stream, so let me just check. You know how this is dealing with these streams.
Oh yeah.
Always really fun. Let me see what we got going here.
What the hell? So we've just been talking to each other?
No. I think it just went down for a second. Yeah, it just went down for a second. A little interruption in there. No big deal. Lynn, now we'll let you get out of here in just a second. But I do want to say from the bottom of my heart, I know you've been a great friend of Tulsa comedy. You have, you know, Starlight Comedy Night, hosted by Hilton Price and Laura Cook, two people that you can hear on, you know, Laura's with Talk Show Inc. Hilton does Opinions Like A-Holes on the SoundsTooth network. So you've also got the Starlight show or the Talk Show Inc. show that you do once a week there with Landry Miller and all those guys. So I mean, you've been a good a friend of comedy and all that stuff. So I do want to thank you for everything you've done there. Now let's why don't you just let's go out here. You could give some closing thoughts, but I wanted you to give people give them some recommendations of something they can do or something that they can drink at home and make at home that you would think would just be a good. We do have Cinco de Drinko coming up, so
oh yeah.
So if people did want to go out, let's do it like this. I don't want to put you too much on the spot. If people did want to go out and visit a liquor store and get them, or have a curbside from a liquor store, because you guys can't do hard liquor deliveries.
No.
But you guys are one of the best bars in town to get some good tequilas and mezcals at. What would be your recommendations on tequilas and mezcals?
Okay, as far as, and by the way, I will say this, for Cinco de Mayo, since we obviously won't be open, I am going to be selling the mixes for margaritas and the mixes for palomas during that time that you can get and then just add your own to it.
And we're not talking about, you know, Mr. Boston's or, you know.
No. These are ones that I am making personal.
Yeah. These are real deal to get you a real marg, not your Aunt Sally's marg or whatever.
Correct.
Right.
But as far as tequilas, okay, so my favorite on the lower end and just affordable is always going to be Espolón. You know, whether you like a Blanco or you like the Reposado, For the price, it's 100% agave. It is 100% great. A little bit on the higher end with tequilas, Agaveles is the name of a brand that I really, really like. It's not over the top expensive, but it is just absolutely a wonderful, also 100% agave tequila. As far as mezcals, I will tell you, Vita is always my standby. It's a good median price. I mean, mezcals can get super expensive. And that really has kind of been my go-to is the Vita mezcal.
Well, and I certainly, I have been at the Starlight a few times and I've gotten the worm at the bottom. So,
oh yeah, that came from the Monte Alban.
Yeah, the Monte Alban, the Cadillac, the used Cadillac.
Yes.
Laura just said hi, Mom, in case you want to.
Hi, honey. I love you.
Well, certainly, and I know it's going to, it's going to be a hard time for everybody. Guys, look, you need to still it's on the SoundsTooth page. You can see the donation links. We'll make sure people like Lynn, Rob, and her employees get taken care of. But other people, when we did our 24-hour live stream, which I think I finally recovered from the 24-hour live stream, we were able to raise, we donated out over, I can't remember how much it was. It was a lot of money, but we were able to give all sorts of people funds that were needing it. Because, a lot of bartenders, they, that's what they do. A place like the Starlight, these are like, it's not, Hootie McBoobs and they're just going out and getting someone that's going to work for an hour or for a couple of weeks, right? These are people that made a career out of bartending.
Absolutely.
So we need to support them. And a lot of bartenders are also musicians and they can't supplement their income without gigs, right? So we're in that. So guys, definitely check out these places, order from them. You'll get to see Lynn pull up in her little, I think it's what is it? You drive a Prius, right? I think.
Yes, Prius.
Got a little starlight, logo on the thing on the top there. So be sure to order from these guys. Check out that Cinco de Mayo stuff. Stay away from the Mexican food places. Don't go out to the burbs and hit up a Mexican food store.
Don't do it.
Mexican food store. Hit up a restaurant, I guess. What food store do you want to go to tonight, honey? But go find someone local. Do a local Mexican restaurant here that isn't opening up their doors, find the ones that aren't, and then order some mixes from the Starlight, and you can have a really good Cinco de Mayo. Lynn, did we lose you? I think we lost Lynn. So.
Oh, dear.
Dan.
Anyway, in closing.
Oh, Lynn is back. Hold on. Let's let Lynn.
I'm still here.
Okay. Lynn, you froze up there for a second. We're going to get out of here in just a second because it's trivia night coming up here next on SoundsTooth. I used to host trivia at the Starlight for a long time. And trivia could, no one's singing the mics at trivia, so that'll still be okay.
We're listening trivial at this point.
But Lynn, give us some parting words here, and Dan and I will take it home and transition. So what do you got to say to people? Again, give them, how can they contact you to let you know, to order some stuff? All that fun stuff.
All right. First and foremost, everybody, be safe, take care of yourselves, and be smart. But in order to get a hold of us, you can go to our the Starlight on Facebook and find us there. And then you can also look for our live casts. We will always be posting them from that page. But if you go to www.starlight.club, that will take you directly to our Twitch page. And if you like that, then you will be notified every single time that we go live.
All right. Well, Lynn, thank you so much for joining. If you'll see here in a second, Joe Foster is getting ready to sign on because she's going to play some trivia with us here.
I know.
But Lynn, thank you so much. Dan, you got some parting words for people before we bring Landry back on here and we transition. Lynn, have a nice day. You be safe. We love you, Lynn.
Sure. Just again, like I said before, support the people that are making responsible decisions.
Yeah, and exactly.
That's pretty much it.
Yeah, support those places that that are going to support us as a community, right? So, well, Dan, it's a little bit different than our normal podcast. We had guests for a change, so hopefully our super fan Tim wasn't too freaked out by that. But shout out to
yeah, indeed. Shout out to Superfan.
Super fan tip. All right, Dan, are you going to? You can go ahead and log out. We'll get Landry back on here in a second, and trivia night's coming up. So if you know anybody that wants to play trivia and has this link, they should probably log back on. Maybe after changing their names. So, all right, guys.
Dope.
Hey, Landry Miller, what's going on?
Hi, how's it going? Did you see I took off the tie?
No, is it after 8 o'clock? We're gonna let it all hang down. Is that what's
Oh,
going on?
baby. Yes,
Oh,
it is.
It is, as you said, Fuck Boy Friday. So
It's Fuckboy Friday. Hey.
Wait, is today Fuckboy Friday?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, it is. Yeah, what is it, Landry?
Oh, I was just going to say, great show.
Oh, yeah.
I like that Michael Patton. I like that Lynn. Both
yeah,
great.
they're great people. I mean,
and then you guys are fine too.
Oh well, yeah. I mean, I got this going for you. And
all right. Well, anyway,
Landry, I don't know if you know this, but we almost hit 20,000 subscriptions to the network. So
wow.
Yeah, there you go. So people do listen to us. So
that's great.
But we are going to get into trivia night. But Landry, you got some stuff to take us bridge here. So what you want people to know what's coming up later on tonight, all that fun stuff?
Yeah, actually I do.
Yeah, good job. That's why I told you.
Oh, okay, I see. Well, then I'll get right into that. Hey guys, okay, so here's the thing. Coming up later tonight, we have tons of stuff. First of all, fucking trivia is next. And if you listen, if you're smart, if you got the goods and you want to play, there's a way to do that. You can be a participant on this show. Even if you're not smart. I mean, I'm not going to discriminate against you. That's not my job. But after that, we have so many sequels coming up. Then we have Talk Show Incorporated with me and my friends. They are really funny and really great. And then after that is the after party, which we're going to have some very funny people joining us, some special guests. It's going to be a fun time. I can't wait to get to it. Also, those donation links, they're real.
Yes.
We're not fishing. We're not going to fish you. Is that what it's called? That scammers do?
Catfish? Yeah, we're not catfishing.
We're not catfishing.
Or as they say,
I love catfish.
Hi, Uncle Gary.
Hi, Uncle Gary.
What's up?
You love catfishing. Oh, it looks like we got some people joining here. Well, while they're getting in here, let me tell you, if you go to, we have a PayPal pool link that's right here in the comments of whatever you're watching. We have that. And then, of course, on Cash App, you can do $ Dustin DeVore, Venmo, Dr. Dustin DeVore. He's a doctor, apparently. And and all that money goes to artists, venues, service industry people that have been affected by COVID-19 coronavirus, and to help them out. We don't keep any of the money, so that's not how this thing rolls. Last time, by the way, Dustin, you were talking about the 24 hours when we raised money. We raised $1,250 from viewers like these that we were.
That's incredible.
Yeah, we smashed our goals. So
yes, very much so.
Now.
Yep.
Landry, when things do get back open, it was so nice to have Lynn on. It's always great to see Lynn's face and talk to Lynn. And the Talk Show Incorporated, home at the Starlight. We love it there. And I know, yes, I do have people logging in, guys. I'll get the list going here in a minute for you guys that are going to play trivia here in a minute. But it's just, I can't say enough good things about Lynn and Rob and what they've done for the comedy community. And look, if you don't want to donate money to us, if you have $50, then you want to order some booze from them. I mean, that's helping them out too. So go look up the Starlight Bar. Lynn puts together, again, she makes, award-winning cocktails and mixes. So even if you don't drink, if you're not into alcoholic stuff, the stuff that she makes, we had a rosemary infused orange juice that she did one day. You can definitely try that stuff out, even if you are someone that is straight edge or sober or something like that. So what is going on, Landry? Are you falling apart?
Out of my shirt.
Is it the string that holds your puppet body together coming apart?
You're going to unravel your shirt.
All right, Landry. Well, we'll have you back on here in a little bit. We're going to play
you guys in an hour.
Now. We got people lined up to go.
Bye, Landry.
Adios, Landry.
Have fun with your questions.
All right, so I've got Joe, Gary, Dan, Ray. I believe is that it, Ray? Okay. Then I got who's in the middle here. That's back to being Landry Miller there. And we've got Sean Singleton. How you doing there, Shawnee boy?
Howdy ho.
Well, guys, for those of you that have tuned in the past, and we'll see if anybody else joins here in a little bit. But we got 5 people right now. I have a feeling maybe D Brown, you might have another person that might play later on in your household there. I don't know. Maybe.
We got it. Nice.
I also have that feeling.
Yeah. So, guys, the way this works, welcome to Trivia Night. This is not actually a podcast, right? This is just a thing that we've been doing on Friday nights. I hosted trivia at bars since basically like 2012, I think. So I have like thousands of questions written, and we just decided to do the best we could and throw something together and let people play some games. The way this will work is I will go in order of people log in. Joe, can you hear me down there? We'll see if
yes.
Joe, okay, yes. Joe, because you're going to be up first tonight, Joe, because you are the first one to log in. But we'll go in the order of your logins, which I have here: Joe, Gary, Dan, Ray, and Sean. And if anyone else pops in, we'll put them at the end. But what will happen is you'll get asked 8 questions. You'll get to choose a category. I'll give you a list of categories. You choose the category that you want to do. You'll get 8 questions. And at the end of the round, at the end of the night, whichever one of you has answered the most questions correctly, I will either give you $5 of my own money, or I will donate it to someone like the Starlight. So you just let me know which one you want to do. So
who is the champion?
What?
Who is the defending champion?
The defending champion is you. You are the defending champion. We do not see Terrell Norton anywhere. He was the first week's winner. But I see Joe there. How you doing, Joe? We're going to bring you on.
Hi.
You doing well, Joe? You still holding up this week?
Yes, it was a very busy week. I had to stay late for work, so I'm unusually sober right now.
Well,
tragic.
I had a bottle of some Crown Royal yesterday, and I looked at it this morning, and I was like, oh no, last night was way too much. So, all right, Joe, I've got 10 more categories this week to choose from. You get the first crack at it, so you need to choose wisely. You get all these category choices, and remember, as a category goes off the board, it is off the board. The categories are Indians, weed, high school English books, ABCD's nuts word associations, hee-haw and other country television, Texas, Chris Brown and other pieces of shit, Superman, Mexico, or amusement parks.
I'm feeling the ABCD's nuts.
Okay, so this is a special category. This is something I never did this when I was hosting at Starlight. But this is a different type of category. Here's how it works. First of all, you have a little bit of a help here in that the answers are all in alphabetical order. They all start with A, B. They go A, B, C, D, E, F, G, H, right? First 8 letters of the alphabet. I will give you a category. I will then give you 3 words or phrases, and you tell me what I'm talking about.
Okay.
You ready?
I think so.
Okay, here we go. And if she gets it wrong, I'll give you guys a chance to chime in. You don't get any points, but I'll let you chime in if you.
You get to show me it.
Yeah, you can. All right, category number 1, band. This is a band. New wave, hairdos, European, and Iran. What band am I talking about? Starts with the letter A, new wave, crazy hairdos, European.
Oh, A Flock of Seagulls.
A Flock of Seagulls is correct. Joe got number 1, A Flock of Seagulls. I think most people just think it's Flock of Seagulls, right? They don't know that there's an A up there. That's the trick, right?
That's what I was struggling with.
Yeah, I know. Okay, I thought there was a cat between the legs. There is not. Category number 2. The category is this is an actor. This is an actor. Dr. Gonzo, Best Supporting Actor Oscar, Miami Vice, and Snatch.
Oh.
Dr. Gonzo, Best Supporting Actor, Miami Vice, and Snatch.
I can see his face.
Now, it's an ugly face, so I don't know why you want to see. Oh, my God.
Well, I mean, it depends on.
Yeah, I guess.
I'm going to kick myself, but I don't want to waste anybody's time.
Does anybody else think they know who I'm talking about? Dr. Gonzo, Best Supporting Actor, Miami Vice, and Snatch. Anybody?
Yeah, don't feel bad now.
Wow, it is Benicio del Toro. He played Dr. Gonzo in
Oh yeah.
Fear and Loathing. So,
And he's a very, very attractive man.
yeah, sure.
He's on my refrigerator.
Category book. Number 3 is a book. Yossarian, Paradox, World War II, and Heller. Yossarian, A Paradox, World War II, and Heller.
I'm going to go with a guess because I don't read. I'll say Clive Cluster, whatever his name, Clive Cussler.
No, anybody know? Anybody got it? Ray?
We know.
Yeah,
It's
what do you got, Ray?
22.
Catch 22 is correct. It was Catch
Oh.
22, which
Oh,
I
the
guess,
book.
I guess a band I guess a school district in Alaska just banned Catch 22 this week. So
I was thinking author. I don't know why. I went with author.
all right, now this is a company. You're naming a company.
Okay, thank you.
All right. Scrubbing Bubbles, Agent Orange, breast implants, and the Bhopal environmental disaster.
DuPont.
Oh, so close. It is a chemical company. Anybody want to know what chemical company it is?
Dow.
It is Dow, but you already said DuPont. So not going to get it to you there.
Oh,
All right. Number 5. This is a movie. Just a movie
okay.
about a trucker. Philo Bedu, 1978, and there's an orangutan in it.
Every which way but loose.
Every which way but loose. Yeah, you
And
have
then
to- yeah.
That's Philo Beto.
Oh yeah, there you go. Philo Beto. There you go. Well, I screwed it up, but
Okay.
did you remember the part where like it's A B C D in order, right? The answers all start with like the next letter. So like for instance, the next one is a musician and it starts with the letter F. So here you
Okay.
go. So this is A B C D's nuts. So
Gotcha.
this is a musician, Austrian, dead, one-hit wonder, Mozart.
Falco.
That is Falco. That is Falco. Rest in peace, Falco. Thank you, Taco, for your loving tribute to Falco. It was very good. Taco.
So
People do not know that Taco is German. They thought, like, yeah, so. All right, this is a country. Here you go. Commonwealth, starts with a G. It's a Commonwealth. It was a British colony. Think Ronald Reagan and St. George. St. George's. British colony, Commonwealth, think Ronald Reagan and St. George's.
I'm really bad at this stuff.
Starts with a G.
Yeah, I got that part. I'm gonna have to break on this one too.
Anybody got
Come
something?
on, somebody.
Georgia.
No, it is not Georgia. It is actually Grenada. Grenada.
Damn it.
Yeah. And your last one here, you got 3. Pretty good so far. 4 won it last week. So here you go.
Okay.
This is an actress. Okay. She's in her early 30s now. Was in Napoleon Dynamite, Seventh Heaven, and is a dual threat. Meaning she's a singer and an actress. So she's in her early 30s, Napoleon Dynamite, Seventh Heaven, and as a dual threat. Who do you got?
Haley Mills.
Oh, you are so close.
I knew it was a Haley. Is something in it?
It's Haley Duff. Haley Duff.
Or is it Hillary Duff?
Well, there's 2 Duffs. There's
Are there?
Haley, yeah. So there you go.
Okay.
Well, you ended the night with 3, Joe. Thank you for playing. Anything you want to say to everybody out there?
Have fun, kids.
Okay, have fun.
Do I have to leave now or?
You don't have to leave. You can stay on all you want.
Get out.
All right, Gary. What's up, Uncle Gary?
Hello. I was just kidding about that get out part, Joe. Also.
Yeah. So, Uncle Gary, where did you bury the body of the grandma you stole your furniture from?
Oh, she's still alive.
Oh, okay. That's good. How you doing, man?
I'm doing all right.
I COVID's got me so stir crazy. I even miss like your drum playing from talk show.
Oh well, thank you. Such
I remember-
a compliment of my drum playing.
I remember that one time when you hit that electronic thing on there, it just kept saying stuff. It was really quite humorous. So,
Yeah.
now Gary, we've got 9 categories left. Here you go. You get to choose any of these categories, Gary. Indian, weed, high school English books, hee-haw and other country television shows, Texas, Chris Brown and other pieces of shit, Superman, Mexico, or amusement parks. What's going to tickle your fancy, Gary?
Oh my God. I'm going to try out weed.
Weed.
Yeah.
Okay, I think there's some spelling in this category, just so you know. So
I was in a spelling bee one time in 7th grade. No, it was 6th grade.
I think most people were in a spelling bee at some point, right?
I got 3rd place.
Good job. Well, maybe you could get first place in this. You just need 3 to tie, 4 to get it. So we'll start with this. As you know, last week was 420, I think, right? That was last week. Times all meld together now, especially if you were really celebrating 420, I suppose. But not only is 420 Hitler's birthday, but it's also, the common thing that we associate with marijuana. The code 420, or the term 420, this is a multiple choice question. Where did we get that code from? Is it from the area code for the Haight-Ashbury part in San Francisco, a meeting time for a group of potheads, the track time of the Grateful Dead song, or the price of 1 pound of weed in 1968?
Well, Dustin, while nobody knows exactly who it was that started it, it was a meeting time for a group of potheads after school.
That is actually absolutely correct. It was a meeting time for a group of potheads after school. So 420, let's all get together, I assume. And, I love that it looks like Sean is just giving a lecture to someone else off screen. So
because he's fucking muted.
I hear enough of him every week on Getting Greasy. I don't need to hear him right now. So, all right.
Pardon me, sir.
You speak when spoken to, Sean.
All right, Gary, you're on the board. Here's number 2. You've probably heard of indica and sativa when it comes to strains of weed, but you may not know the name of what type of weed that predominantly comes out of Russia and typically has much less THC than the other 2. And I'll give you a hint. It starts with an R.
Sativa. How about Rusica?
Did you go with Rusica because it just sounds Russian?
Yeah. Well, also it has the Ika in it. Well, I guess it could be Rustiva.
Well, it's actually ruderalis is what it is.
Ruderalis. I did not know that.
Ruderalis. Ruderalis.
California, Ruderalis, California.
That kind of sounds like Deutschland über alles. All right, question number 3, Gary. Here you go. When it comes to weed, you can smoke it or you can eat it. As you know, there's all sorts of edibles out there. If a dispensary would like to sponsor us on SoundsTooth, give us money, something, that'd be great. But you can eat it. But which, edibles are very popular. Which of the following is a actual entrant that made it into the Denver Cannabis Cup? Which of these is a real edible product? Chiba cheese, KB&J, pot roast, or reef jerky?
What was the first one you said?
Chiba cheese.
Chiba cheese?
Chiba cheese.
Okay. See, that one, it almost sounds real, but it sounds like a trap.
It's a trap.
I'm going to go with reef jerky.
You are correct. It is reef jerky.
I want to try it.
If you are on a keto diet and you want to get stoned, you can go eat your reef jerky.
Phenomenal. Do you know how they prepare it? Like, are they strips or is it like that fucking old chew, like that fake chaw you shoved in your lip?
It's the little, it's the can of powder beef jerky. I'm sure it's real beef jerky. But yeah, I wonder if you give that to Sasquatch, if he just mellows out, right? Instead of the Jack Links. There you go. All right, you got 2 so far. Here we go. Question number 4, Gary. Did you know, man, if you like to smoke your fuel, as it turns out, hemp can be turned into biofuel. And if it were made 100% legal, I'm sure what country music legend would make it and sell it at his biodiesel gas station / plant? So what country music legend has a biodiesel gas station / a biodiesel plant?
Wow. I'm just going to shoot in the dark. Willie Nelson.
Yeah, that one. I mean, Willie Nelson. If it's smoking weed in country music, it's Willie Nelson. So Willie Nelson is correct, Gary.
Hooray!
You got 3. You've tied Joe, and that is the most enthusiastic hooray I've ever heard. So
Hooray!
hooray! All right. Now, Oklahoma used to have some of the strictest weed laws in the state, and
Really happy I chose this category.
and they also, I guess, kind of these laws probably still exist since it's still illegal to have weed if you don't have your card. But Oklahoma has some of the strictest laws in the state regarding marijuana and its paraphernalia. Over, under, or exactly, the fine for having a bong, and it was your first offense, was $1,000.
That sounds exact. Sounds like some exact shit.
Well, that would have made sense to be exact, but instead it's $1,100 for some reason.
What? Why?
I don't know. I guess you got
to show me like an itemized breakdown.
Yeah.
For that fucking fee structure.
All right, I know you're going to get this one probably. This is a fill in the blank. Fill in the blank here. Blank refers to the resin glands or trichomes of cannabis, which may accumulate in containers or be sifted from loose, dry cannabis flower with a mesh screen or sieve.
Keef?
That is Keef. That was a no-brainer for you. Keef. All right, you got 4. You've pulled into the lead. Here we go.
I am the champion.
All right, no, not yet. Number 7. Terrell won the first week on pot movies, and you're currently winning on weed, so maybe I should just not do weed trivia.
I was so worried that like none of my knowledge was trivial enough to help me on this, but I'm killing it.
All right, here we go. Weed is often a great part of comedy movies, but not all weed comedies are great. Which of the following films about weed made the most money at the box office? Which of the following? Now, this is adjusted for inflation. So if it's an older movie, it's adjusted for inflation.
What? It's a crapshoot.
Well, because I mean, come on, man. If you make $100 million in 2020, it's not this. It's equivalency of making like 70 million in 1998. So.
Yeah, but I'm not like in the financial industry. Inflation to me is mostly just a ambiguous relative concept of things are more expensive now. Fucking inflation.
Landry Miller should really let you onto this after party show just to do Gary's, your yoga cult. So,
my yoga cult.
Yeah, whatever you were doing on the live stream. I don't remember. It was pretty drunk by that point. Here are the movies to choose from. Which one of these made the most? Dazed and Confused, Half Baked, Harold and Kumar Go to White Castle, or How High?
Oh, at the box office? Probably Dazed and Confused.
The answer is actually How High.
How High? That would have been my second guess. Because like the rest are all like they were cult classics for sure, but I don't remember that they were like very popular when they came out.
All right, Gary, here's your last question this round. And then next up we have Dan, followed by Ray, then Sean. And if anybody else pops in, we'll get them going. Question number 8. As you probably know, I guarantee you know, Gary, THC is what makes you high in the old Mary Jane there. But what you may not know is what THC stands for. Within reasonable spelling accuracy, spell out what THC stands for.
Oh, all right. THC would be.
Do you know what it stands for to begin at the beginning?
See, here's the thing.
Yeah,
I think I do, but if I'm wrong, then me spelling it is a piece of shit. And yeah, then Sean's got it, but it's
yeah, we'll get Sean if he fucks it up. We'll get you on, Sean. Oh,
I'm gonna say it stands for tetrahydra. See, this is the part. Tetrahydra Cannabinol.
Okay, can you spell that?
Was that right?
It's pretty close.
Fuck. Well, all right. TETRAHYDRACANNAB CANNABINAL would be or it's OID, which would be OID. I can't remember.
No, you are. I'm going to go ahead and give you the point because you are very, very close.
What is it?
It is TETRAHYDROCANNABINOL. So
I put
probably,
A's instead of fucking.
Yeah, it's probably just your Okie, your Okie accent wanting to put those A's in there instead of those O's.
It's hooked on phonics got me. I was in their demographic as a kid growing up. I learned how to spell through sounding it out.
Well, Gary, that is
Thanks for the
5
point,
for you, bud. You got 5.
Yeah.
You're in the lead. And we're
Just
going to go to Dan or
As many.
D Brown. What's up?
What's going on?
I don't know what's going on with that green screen, but it's certainly something.
Yeah, let me fix it.
Well, those green screens are really great. Okay, that's amazing. You're doing a good job there, Dan. So Dan, we got you up, Ned and Ray, then Sean. Your categories left, Dan, are these: Indians, high school English books, Hee Haw and Other Country Television, Texas, Chris Brown and Other Pieces of Shit, Superman, Mexico, or amusement parks.
Amusement parks.
I've got to turn off that virtual background because that looks creepy. Amusement parks. You want amusement parks? Okay, here we go. One of these is about a water park in Kansas City, but it's not the one that decapitated that guy's son. So just so you know.
That's good.
All right, here we go. Amusement parks. All right. In this category of amusement parks, let's start off with a couple Disney questions for you. First, here's a multiple choice question. Which of these 4 rides is not at least 5 Disney parks? So all of these but one are at 5 Disney parks. Autotopia, Dumbo the Flying Elephant, Mad Tea Party, or Pirates of the Caribbean?
Autotopia.
Anybody want to guess what the actual answer is? It's Pirates. Pirates of the Caribbean is only at 4 parks. So there you go. Number 2, moving on. D Brown, how you doing? You doing well in the lockdown?
I'm hanging in there.
The shading on your virtual background is making your mustache look a little bit like a bloated Hitler face we got going there. I don't know. Like I can't see the catfish side on the side. So
it's there.
Yeah, it's there. Okay. They didn't address that in the Michael Jordan documentary on ESPN, why he did that Hanes commercial with a Hitler mustache. That was my
that was problematic for sure.
Question number 2. Speaking of rides, there are 5 Disney parks that have a ride at them. But this ride, which is not super exciting, did have to be restructured and rebuilt at all these parks, or at least the ones in America, because Americans were too fat and it stopped moving. What ride is it?
Batman.
Batman the ride?
Batman the ride.
Batman is a Six Flags property, first of all. So no, it's ironic because it's a small world. The boats kept bottoming out because American families were too fat. So there's something. Okay. Speaking of Six Flags, the tallest roller coaster in the world, at least for now, is the Kinga Ka at Six Flags Great Adventure in New Jersey. Within 5 feet on either side, how long is the biggest drop on the biggest roller coaster in the world? You picked a bad category.
Yeah, no crap. 20 feet.
20 feet?
I do not understand the question.
It's 400. It's anywhere between 413 to 423 was your acceptable range. So It's a massive drop on that coaster. All right. Number 4, the world's fastest roller coaster is the Formula Rossa, which goes about 149 miles per hour. Sadly, if you want to ride this roller coaster, you'll have to get on a plane, which you can't do right now, because it's located at Ferrari World in what capital city of the United Arab Emirates? Ferrari World is a amusement park in the capital of what the capital of United Arab Emirates. What is it?
I do not know.
Anybody know? Take a guess. Sean?
Qatar?
What?
Is it Qatar?
No, it is Abu Dhabi.
Damn.
Abu
Okay.
Dhabi is the correct answer to that one. Okay, now I think you'll get this one, D Brown. I think you're gonna get on the board here. If you want to go to an amusement park in Oklahoma, you have to drive to the shitty city and visit Frontier City. While there, you might ride what wooden roller coaster that was built in 1968 and shares a name with the one that killed people at Bell's?
Wildcat.
The Wildcat is correct. The old Wildcat. Yeah. You know the Wildcat, what was that one that they have that's in the barn at Frontier City? Like, that's just the Wildcat in a barn. It's the same roller coaster. So, okay, number 6. Cedar Point is a really good amusement park. If you've never been, go to Cedar Point. I hear great things. And like a lot of amusement parks, it has a tie-in with cartoon franchises. What cartoon franchise, which launched in the 1950s and had a movie in 2015 and is associated with holidays, is a theme at Cedar Point? Started in the 1950s, had a movie in 2015, and is associated with holidays, has rides at Cedar Point. Your foot looks ridiculous. You got a guess?
Do not.
Anybody got a guess?
Smurfs.
No.
Rocky and Bullwinkle?
What do you got up there, Ray and them?
We were going to say Rocky and Bullwinkle, but then you said holidays, so we thought maybe Peanuts.
It is Peanuts. Peanuts is, yeah. Yeah, Charlie Brown. All right, guys. D Brown, you go. Number 7. Hey, I think you'll get this one. I think you got this one. I know what you like to do, and I think you're going to get this one. If you're doing a little boozing and you've been losing too much money in Las Vegas, well, and you want to get away from that, you can either visit the New York that has a roller coaster, or you can visit what other casino in Las Vegas that is the tallest building in Las Vegas that has a roller coaster.
Oh, geez, oh, Pete's. The Space Needle.
Well, it looks like the Space Needle. I know you guys got it up there. Ray, what do you got?
Stratosphere.
It is the Stratosphere. It's on the all other end of the strip.
It's crappy.
We stayed there. It's crappy.
Was Circus booked up? All right, and question number 8. Your chance, checkers or wreckers is what you got going on right now. You had the checkered flag last week. You're putting it in the wall. You're doing a Dale Earnhardt on this week. So here we go. If you like water shooting up your ass at really high speeds, then the Schlitterbahn in Kansas City is going to be very popular for you because they have a water slide with a 184-foot drop. How many stories is that? Love hearing Christy in the background when you get stumped.
And she's on the porch.
How many stories is 184 feet?
15.
Oh, you are really, really close. It's 17 stories high.
Son of a bitch.
17 stories.
It's got a lot of stories about people pulling their underwear out of their butt.
Yeah. Pops flying off, things like that, right? Look, we like our water parks to be owned by exotic animal handlers. That's the only way to go. So, what is it? Safari Joe, not Joe Exotic. Safari Joe, 2 different people. So, all right, D. Brown, well, you ended with 1. You got anything to say to people out there?
This was horrible.
Yeah, it was. You did not do a good job.
No.
All right. Is Christy
I'll
going
be
to play?
back next week.
Is Christy going to play? Nope, I guess not. All right. So that brings us to Ray. What's going on?
Hey.
So how did y'all come across this? Find this?
We were just randomly on Facebook tonight.
Ray
so-
knows Facebook.
And I like trivia.
Okay, well, normally it's just the best way we could figure out to do it. So glad you guys are on. How have you guys been handling the quarantine and COVID life?
We're
Pretty well,
doing
considering
okay.
we spend a lot of time with each
Yeah.
other.
Yeah. And we've got 4 kids, so we've been doing a lot of homeschooling
Mhm.
and working, and we're ready to go back to normal life.
Yeah, I can imagine that it's quite a bit to deal with. Like
Yeah.
I'm on the other side of the distance learning stuff, and it's just as frustrating for us on the other side. So, all right. So here's our categories that we have left.
We decided on Superman.
Superman. Okay, you want Superman.
Yeah, we want Superman.
Okay. Well, let's get to Superman here. Maybe let me see if I can put out the.
You just asked the 4 questions. The
Hold
4
on.
questions we know about
8.
Superman. Oh, there's 8. Well, we'll know 4 of them.
Let me. I need to text Landry here real quick. This is the beauty of podcasting on the spot. Running all this together. So Superman is your category. Okay. Here we go. Now, when I wrote this, these are written in the past, and so like some of these questions will have some dates in there that are a little funky. But this question is about because when I wrote this, it was Henry Cavill's birthday, the guy who played Superman in a Man of Steel, where Superman went up against General Zod in the Man of Steel, that movie. What actor played General Zod in Man of Steel?
Oh, he was just in a show. Michael Shannon. Shannon is his last name. Michael Shannon?
Yes, Michael Shannon is correct. Good job. Right there. Yeah, he's in a lot of stuff right now. So
Yeah, he was just in that show we just saw on. Oh, never mind.
I don't know what you're talking about.
all right, number 2. Superman.
FBI agent in Waco.
Oh, yes. Superman is an orphan like many other superheroes. You'd think him and Batman would just, bond over that and not, Superman's mom's name or whatever.
Mhm.
But what is Superman's dad's name from Krypton?
Jor-El.
Jor-El is correct. All right, that's 2 for 2. You gonna make a run on this category?
We're gonna go all the way.
All the way.
I know 8 things about Superman. So far, you've asked me 2 of them.
All right. All right. So this is to put some context to this. I believe this was written in 2015. Okay. So take your little 5-year hat off there. Superman acquired a new power in 2015, which allows him to expel all of his energy from the sun and become mortal for 24 hours. What was that new power called? Was it the Krypton Cleanse, the Solar Flare, the Sunburst, or the Super EMP?
I don't know, but I'm going to guess Super EMP.
It's actually the Solar Flare. Let out a Solar Flare. So we're not going to run the table here.
We're not going to run the table.
But I got faith in this next one. I think you're going to get it. Okay. All good men need a good pet at home to make them happy after a day of battling Darkseid or Doomsday. What is the name of Superman's lovable super dog?
Crypto the Super Dog.
Crypto the Super Dog is correct.
No.
She didn't know I was a nerd.
I had no idea he knew this.
Now, this next one is, you could get this from knowing 2 different things in pop culture. The answer.
Okay.
But one of the most famous plots from a Superman movie was once again reused in Office Space.
Yep.
Where you use the bank account and you just drop the decimals off, take the pennies, things like that. Which Superman movie was that the plot of?
Ooh. It was the one with Pryor, which was either Superman. It was Superman 3 was the Superman 3.
Superman 3 is correct. Superman 3. That's so that's up to 4. You are 1 away from dethroning or for tying Gary at 5. So here we go.
All right, here we go.
All right. In the world of comic books, Superman, like all Batman and all the other ones, like the Flash and everything else, they have their villains. Lex Luthor, Mongol, Lobo, Doomsday, Darkseid, all these things.
Yes.
In the world of comic books, that would be called Superman's blank gallery.
Rogues Gallery.
Rogues Gallery is correct. You have tied Gary with 5. There's a kitty cat down there on Joe's feed.
Oh, hi, Joe.
All right. Superman is not invincible, as he has a few vulnerabilities, of which we have kryptonite, the red sun of Krypton, lead. Well, that's always a lame one.
Yeah.
Like I think it's like the original Green Lantern, the Alan Scott one, couldn't deal with wood.
Yellow.
Like
Yeah.
no, yellow was later. It was wood. He couldn't do things with wood. Yeah. He has solar energy exhaustion. And what other power that a lot of villains have is Superman's other weakness?
Power that other villains have, Superman's weakness.
Some superheroes have this power too. For the lead.
Shit, I don't know. Anything. Yeah, red lasers.
Not red laser. Gary, do you know?
Magic, baby.
It is magic. He can't.
Oh.
Yes.
Can't
Yeah.
fucking handle it.
Can't handle that magic. And there's lots of magical supervillains.
Yeah, like Shazam.
All right. For the lead, here's your
All right.
last question. You got to know video games for this one.
Okay.
When it comes to Superman video games, there really hasn't been a great one, but there has been a horrible one. Known unofficially as Superman 64, what 1999 Superman title is regarded as one of the worst video games ever? It's colloquially called Superman 64, but it's got an actual name. What is it?
I thought it was just Superman.
There is a colon. There's a colon.
Superman, Man of Steel.
Oh, it's not. You're going to remain tied with Gary. It's Superman: The New Adventures.
Nope.
Sounds like a TV series, but hey, whatever. It's
Yeah.
all good. Well, guys, thanks for playing. Anything you want to say to anybody out there that might be watching?
Happy quarantine.
Yeah.
What were you guys drinking on there? What did you have in that cup?
I have a Moscow Mule.
I have
good
gin
job.
and LaCroix.
Oh, what, gin and LaCroix?
Yeah.
You're a woman after my own heart. I've been drinking gin and Aldi LaCroix. So.
Oh, yeah. Pretty much exactly the same.
Yeah, pretty much. All right, that's going to bring us to Sean. What is up, Sean Singleton?
Emily, you make me.
Not a whole lot, just making sandwiches, living the life,
So,
making fancy cocktails.
yeah. You're going to be on the feed tomorrow night, closing out the podcast festival for Getting Greasy after hours, 11 o'clock tomorrow night. We'll see if we survive that through that time. We might have to poke Zach every once in a while to wake him up, but it'll be all right. Here's the categories that we have left for you, Sean. Indians, high school English books, hee-haw and other country television shows, Texas, Chris Brown and other pieces of shit, and Mexico.
Chris Brown's and other pieces of shit for 5,000, Alex.
Okay. I think you perked up the first time I read that name. And so I was like, I'm pretty sure he's going to take this one. This is a category all about people that are pieces of shit.
Nice.
As dubbed by me, I suppose. The arbiter of who is a piece of shit. All right. This was written on Chris Brown's birthday. So that's why his name was there. Right out of the gate, Chris Brown had a #1 hit on his 2005 eponymous album. And that song featured Jules Santana. What was that Chris Brown song from 2005 that was his #1 hit? Featuring Jules Santana. It's 2 words. That's all it is.
Baby girl.
Baby girl. No, it is Run It. I don't know. I can't name any Chris Brown songs, so I can name that one. But maybe you'll get this one. There aren't a whole lot of women on the domestic abuse list. These are all people that are like accused of like domestic abuse, being racist, stuff like that. But there is Tanya Harding. who not only abused her husband, but also Nancy Kerrigan's knee. What was the name of her then husband who smashed Nancy Kerrigan's knee? What was the name of Tanya Harding's husband who smashed Nancy Kerrigan's knee?
Fuck, Robert Black. I don't know.
Jeff Gillooly.
Jeff Gillooly.
Gillooly. Yeah, that was a Saturday Night Live bit for like years. Was Jeff Gillooly? Like, okay, now maybe you'll get this one. A while ago, abuser Mel Gibson joined the cast of Expendables 3, where he was the 6th oldest guy, coming in at 72 years old at the time. Who was the oldest cast member of Expendables 3?
I want to say Arnold Schwarzenegger.
Oh, no, this guy has trouble flying airplanes.
Oh, Harrison Ford?
Harrison Ford is correct, but I gave you the hint, so I'm not going to give it to you.
That's fine.
Yeah.
Understandable.
Okay, so let's see here. Next one up. Oh, we all know Sean Singleton to be a huge sporto. Always watching the sports, right? Carmen Electra and Dennis Rodman both have domestic abuse charges against them. So I'll ask you about Dennis Rodman, our #1 ambassador to North Korea. Pistons, Lakers, Bulls, Mavericks, and what other team makes up the teams that Dennis Rodman played for? Pistons, Lakers, Bulls, Mavs, and what other team?
Pistons, Lakers, Bulls, Mavs. Pistons, Lakers, Bulls, Mavs. Fuck. Pistons, Lakers, Bulls, Mavs. Clippers.
Not the Clippers. Anybody know? I can't see that, Joe. The Heat? No, it was the San Antonio Spurs. San Antonio Spurs.
Damn.
Okay. We're going to get you on the board. I think this one's going to do it for you. But doom. For some reason, Vanilla Ice thought that his song Ice Ice Baby was actually very different from what Queen and David Bowie song?
Under Pressure.
Under Pressure is correct. You're on the board. Now, see, mine goes ba-doom, doom, right? So it's just slightly different. All right.
The syncopation.
Yes. All right. For some reason, question number 6, Sean Penn decided to beat up Madonna once. And we seemingly have forgiven him for that, but maybe not for that last film that he made, which was not very good, apparently, when I wrote this. Anyway, Penn has Oscars for 2 films when I wrote this, Milk and what 2003 mystery drama?
Oh. God damn it. Is Tim Robbins in this movie as well?
I do not remember.
Oh, fuck. I can't think of the title.
Joe, what you got? Wait, hold on. Sean, get a countdown. 5, 4, 3.
I remember what it's called.
Joe, do you got it?
Is it Mystic River?
It is Mystic River.
That's what it was. Yes.
Mystic
God damn
River. It. All right. Well, number 7. Evel Knievel apparently took time out from jumping things to beat up his wife a lot. Perhaps Knievel's most famous jump was over what canyon located in Idaho in 1974?
Is that the Snake River Canyon?
It is the Snake River Canyon. I think it's one of the few jumps that everybody remembers from Evel Knievel. All right, this one's going to be great for you. Maybe for Ethan or Zach. Back in 2002, Stone Cold Steve Austin was busted for domestic abuse. Prior to being Stone Cold Steve Austin, what was the name Stone Cold used when he was introduced to the WWE as the $1 Million Man's protege? Just because you got no chance of winning, I'm going to give you another hint. It's the same answer. It's also the name of the Jerry Springer movie.
No idea.
Anybody? I can't hear you down there, Ray.
It's Ringmaster. If it's
Ringmaster is correct. The Ringmaster. If you have not seen The Ringmaster, the movie, I highly recommend that you punish yourself and watch it. Landry Miller, what's going on, bud?
Hi. I was trying to pop in to say Ringmaster.
Well, Sean, that's going to do it for you. You ended up with 2. We need a winner, though. So we got 2 people tied. And then Landry and I will prattle for a little while as we get the next podcast getting ready to go. So Gary and Ray, we got to have a bonus question for you. Ready? Gary, you good?
Yeah, we're ready.
Okay, I'm going to find one here that I can get a number on. It's going to take me a second. I won't ask about Indian tribes because, well, that was up Gary's alley a little bit. Let's see. I'm getting it here.
I'd have an unfair bias.
Did anybody pick the high school books category?
Well, they didn't, but I'm trying to find something where I can get like a range of numbers for people. So
okay.
But we could do it. Let's see what we can find here.
I'd like to buy a vowel.
I'd like to buy a pronoun.
You don't know what a pronoun is. Helping those 7th graders. Fourth graders.
All right, so here's what we'll do. I'm trying to find here something that we can do that will be a good bridge here. We'll do this. Here's a very simple question for you guys. This comes from my category, and if I use this one next week, you can remember this answer. I'll have to look it up because the answer has changed since I wrote this.
That seems unfair.
This is from the category of country shows, Hee Haw, and other country shows.
Okay.
I was going to ask because it was kind of a country show, definitely because it had Billy Ray Cyrus and obviously Miley Cyrus in it.
It's my favorite show.
So Hannah Montana.
Yes.
How old is Miley Cyrus today?
Oh.
This is for Ray and Gary. And Gary, since you had the early lead, I'll let you go first.
How old is Miley Cyrus today?
Yep.
I think it's 29.
29? What do you guys say on it, Ray?
I say 28.
We say younger than that. Yeah, 28.
28. The correct, you all overbid. She's 27. But
Holy shit.
With the win to Ray. You guys won the tiebreaker. She's 27. I think she was on SNL last weekend or something.
She was.
She did. Wish You Were Here.
Yeah, what's the deal with all these people just doing covers? I don't like.
They got to do something that's relevant.
It's got to unite America.
It's got to unite America. Yeah.
It just kind of, like, stop with the sad songs. Just cover Pitbull songs. Let's just all.
Yeah.
Right?
Who Let the Dogs Out?
Yeah, Mr. Worldwide. Let's do it.
Yeah.
All right, guys. Well, thank you guys for joining us. That was Trivia Night. Landry and I are going to talk about what's coming up next on the show. You guys can go ahead and sign off. We'll see you guys later. We'll be back
next time to defend our title, and you can give our winnings to the Starlight.
I will give your winnings to Starlight, and I'll be back again next week on Friday night, most likely. See you guys later.
Only if you have Superman questions.
Peace out, guys. So, Landry Miller, what's going on?
Hi.
I can kick
much. I'm just getting ready. We have in the queue right here, we pretty much have everybody from the So Many Sequels podcast just waiting to get in. Sean.
I'm gonna go ahead and let them in. Sean's gonna eat a sandwich on camera, I think. I'm gonna let these guys in because I don't want to like hork in on their show, but I do want to share something again with people. This is on our page. Please go check it out. This is our donation links. If you're watching, PayPal pool link. I wish they had a better way to do it, but that's the links that they give you. You can Cash App me or Venmo me. The money will all go to places like Starlight, Lot 6, places that have been friendly to Tulsa comedy. Also musicians and comedians that are struggling right now, bartenders. We'll make sure all the money finds it to those people. And hey, if you don't want to give us money, listen to what Lynn said earlier. Go out there, and you can, buy stuff from these bars. Order a 12-pack of beers or a 12-pack of Trulies or whatever. And again, super shout out to Lynn and Starlight. They're doing their Cinco de Mayo thing next week. It's going to be homemade margarita mixers and Paloma mixers that they will deliver. So even if you do mocktails, they have stuff that they can help you out. They got CBD infused drinks you can order to your door. So there you go. You can do that out there. But I'm going to invite these guys in from So Many Sequels and get them in here.
Bye, Sean. All right, we got him. And Josh is also coming in. Here we go. There they are.